preview. Right. We're about to go live this time, so I'll try again. Sorry.
No, it's okay.
Hello everyone and welcome to the California 500. I'm Richard Coxon and alongside me is Jonatan Acerclinth. How are you today, Jonatan?
Hello, Richard and everyone else. I'm pretty good, a little bit tired. Been refereeing for near on 13 hours now, so well, been away from home for 13 hours and refereed for 11 of those, so my mind might not quite be here, but at least I'm here physically.
Yeah.
How are you?
I'm alright, thank you. It's my first time taking control in the booth, so it's a nervous experience, but I'm sure we'll power through it.
I'm fairly sure we'll survive. We are just about to head into the race, but let's quickly look at the track map, which is of the Barrio Motor Speedway, one of the 500-mile locations. The other two, of course, being the Indy 500 and the Pocono 500. But we have a four-turn super speedway layout, and despite the speeds being very high, there's no way everyone will be going flat out everywhere, so should be a good bit of action around here.
It certainly will.
And while we're still at it with a bit of a cramped bit here, let's also look at the fuel rule for this event, which will be the same as at the Indy 500, where our runners will be allowed a maximum of
That sounds like
a maximum of 280 gallons during this race, which is sort of a bit too little for everyone, but hopefully they'll all be able to last the entire distance.
yes, hopefully we don't have too many dramas, and as you say, everyone complies to the fuel rules. I don't see why we shouldn't. I'm sure we'll have a few yellows that will help them on the way, as the safety car just sets off and leads the field on their formation lap or parade lap. So
yep, and it looks like Austin Johnson has taken pole here in his Kingfish. I believe he also drove the Kingfish at Indy with very great success.
he did. He drove it at both Indy and Pocono, winning both races, and if he wins this race, he will be the first person in HSO's history to win the Triple Crown, which is, as you know, the three 500-mile events of the year. So if we quickly look down the grid, because we've only got a short pace lap, we've got Austin Johnson in first. Jason White took a brilliant second on the grid. David jumped third. Boss fourth. Martin Lucina, I believe, took fifth. No, it was David Jake, sorry, with Lucina in sixth. Alan Forster seventh, and Adam Hackman eighth. John Team took ninth, and Ray Riddell rounding out the top 10.
I'm afraid we'll have to stop it there because they are coming towards the green flag line.
Green.
And the green flag is out, and we are on the way here at Ontario. And it looks like there's a mad dash towards turn 1. And Austin is in first position, and his teammate for this race, David Junt, climbs to second with Jason White in third.
Yeah, great start by David Jump there, and he's trying to challenge Austin for the lead, but as we know, Austin sets his car up with very low wing to maximise his straight line advantage.
It looks like everyone also survived turn 1, which is great to see, and yeah, that's one of the more crazy things about Austin, I must say. that he is able to drive a car like that.
Yes, it always seems on a ragged edge, yet he's able to control it quite easily.
It looks like, oh, we have a bit of side-by-side action here between, I believe that's David Yates and Martin Lasina. I believe both of them in the 72 version of the in names I'm not good. The 72 Eagle.
David Jakes is running the Works 1974 Eagle.
Oh dear me, okay.
But Lucina is definitely in a 1972 version.
Okay, and we have two teammates side by side as well, a bit further down that straight. That's Team and Ray Riddle, a fellow Swede, doing a good job here, lying just inside the top 10. Looks like everyone more or less are behaving themselves for now.
Yes,
although
very
we have
clean.
Griffith. Oh, nicely saved. We had, I believe that's Michael Griffiths with a bit of trouble early on here. Was on the inside of the track, so I don't know if he lost it going into turn 1, but he was slow and on the inside of the track, and now he's actually in the outside as well. Well, that looks like some damage, and that's unfortunately Griffiths' race over on lap 2.
Let's hope he brings it to the infield and we don't
Alright,
get...
yellow flag, back it down.
Would it be just about if the...
No, we've already got the yellow flag, unfortunately.
Oh, well, it is what it is.
It is.
That's very unfortunate for Michael, but hopefully...
Your boss is coming out of the pits. I don't know if he's sustained damage or he's doing a tactical move. But it seems a bit early to pit.
I certainly do, but then again, if he saw that there's some trouble going on, then maybe he took the chance of putting a bit of extra fuel in and maybe taking advantage of that. I know Alan Forster used that to great success in the 88 series in round 1, where he took the win through filling up with fuel at every pit, almost every yellow.
So it's a tactic then that could very work, whether it does or not, because obviously as we know these cars are vastly different to the 88 ones. But we shall see and
Indeed.
keep an eye on Yuha.
It will definitely be interesting to watch. The bad thing for him is that he's at the very back field now, but on the other hand, he is in a McLaren, and that'll be a very fast.
Microphone muted. Microphone activated.
Just ahead of him on track, actually, we have one of the more beautiful cars in the field, I'd say, with the Volstedt in the hands of Lukas Glockner.
Yes, a late entrant to the race after Brian Yannick was unable to take the start. So it's good to see some new people at HSO, and hopefully they stay around for the foreseeable future.
Oh, definitely.
And we've got action in the pits. I believe this is Greg Delacella into the pit lane.
Well, we have Alan Forster in this actually in the 76 machine. So here we are again with Alan's decision, way to do things, and of course, as you mentioned, Greg Delacella on the way into the pits as well.
Yeah, interesting tactics. I personally wouldn't have pitted this early in the race, but you never know if it works for them.
Well, one thing to remember with Alan is that he's of course on a gamepad, so...
Yeah, it's certainly different to a wheel, I can vouch for that.
I don't think anyone of us started out on a wheel. I think all of us were either on a keyboard or a gamepad, and one big difference once you get your hands on a wheel.
It certainly does make a difference when you get on a wheel. I remember Grand Prix Legend days, trying to use a keyboard. It was a nightmare to say the least.
Oh, it definitely was. There was no walk in the park.
So if we take a quick look at the order so far after the first few laps, we've got Austin Johnson in the lead, David Junt, his teammate, in second, Jason White still running up there in the top 5 in third, David Jakes in fourth, Lucina in fifth. I'm not sure who that is, just bear with me.
That's Lavach.
Peter Lavach.
And we have John Team, Ray Riddle, Adam Hackman,
Yeah.
and
Then
10th Mikael Drexler.
Yes, in the car that I used in the Indy 500. So I've a personal affinity to that car.
Let's see, then we have 11th Jason Fitch, 12th for Francois Remet, Alberto Junior doing a great job in 13th at the moment, actually ahead of his senior father,
Yes.
I believe, with Gerard Rio 14th, Alberto Senior 15th, 16th for Lucas Vidra. I believe he's also a newcomer to HSO. He may have done one race before.
I think he's done, yeah, maybe just the one at Mosport in the F171 series.
Ah, yes, of course. And then we have, let's see, Mark Craggs in 17th, Jan Prusha in 18th, 19th for Bruno Chacon, 20th for Filippo Marazzi, 21st for David Saber, a bit further back than I'd expect. As for Yves Placé, who's in 22nd, Pascal Khalida 23rd with Mick Chapman 24th, 25th for Jan Kowalski, and 26th for Dave Miller, as there's a bit of a checkup.
Yeah.
Lucas Glockner is 27th, with Alan Forster 28th. Greg De La Cella lies 29th, and in 30th and currently last is Juha Bors in his McLaren that he also used, I believe, at the Indianapolis race.
I believe so, he could well have, but I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah, looks like we'll possibly have a green flag this time around.
It certainly looks that way. The pace car's pulled off onto the apron.
Okay, let's see how Austin handles this restart.
Green flag, go, 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 go!
Looks like he will be okay, but David Yates goes to the inside of Jason White for third. Looks like White holds on for now. That's great to see him up near the front.
It is.
Oh, that's very wide. He may even have nudged the wall then. It looks like, for me, there's sparks coming from his car, so I'm not sure if that's damage or what's going on, but he lets David Yates go. Jason's an old fox, so the EK is very clever when it comes to oval racing, so wouldn't be surprised if he tries to hook on to David Yates' rear wing here and get dragged up to the front.
David will certainly be wanting to get close to Austin for the championship.
Back it down.
And with another yellow, I'm not sure where that is at the moment.
Looks like Adrian is unfortunately off the road. I'll see if I can find out what happened.
Not sure, but he may have retired.
Was in
Oh,
turn
he's
one.
moving.
I unfortunately can't see what happened to him exactly, but he is indeed moving, heading towards the apron to try and get around to the pits.
Let's see if we can have a look on the replay. No, it's not going to go back far enough. Well, he's lost his rear wing, so he's gone in backwards to something, you'd assume.
Yep, looks like he went in rear right, whereas the safety car goes around him, very close to him.
Yes, I think the rear looks a bit bent as well.
Yep. But that's a good job. He decides to back off to let the field, by the looks of things, go by more or less entirely safely. Oh dear me, that car ain't easy to control. Just lock the brakes here. Good job. As he heads to the infield track.
Yes. He's going the wrong way on it, but...
But then again, that's better than being out on the apron with a field going by.
It is.
If the car is, as it looks, a little bit of a handful.
It looks as though it's certainly crabbing.
Yep, and it looks like Greg De La Cella heading for the pits again. Yes, I'm very much mistaken. He does indeed, and he is followed by, and he follows.
I think it's
someone
Alan
also
Forster
decided
again.
He
It is.
Yep. Both Alan and Greg applying the any opportunity to put fuel in is a good opportunity. And
Yeah.
Rion's battled car also gets into the pit lane. Oh, he actually goes straight through. Well, I wonder if it's down to the fact that
He's
if
missed
you're a lap
his...
down, you have to.
Yes, very true. I'd forgot about that, the rule.
Not sure if that's applied, but I believe there is a rule such as that for this series. So, yep, that car definitely ain't easy to control.
No, it may be time to park that and call it a day.
Well, sort of depends if the crew can repair it to some kind of manageable machinery again, but
Oh, we shall certainly keep an eye on it.
yep. Yeah, it looks like it's more or less status quo in the top 10. Looks like Remé and Drexler picked up a couple of places, but that could have also been before the restart though, so I can see that you have both picked up 2 positions during those couple of green flag laps, and Greg is back in the pits again, presumably for fuel.
Not sure, to be honest. That's an interesting tactic, to say the least.
Looks like he's going for
Certainly changing
Tyres
all
as well.
4 tyres.
maybe he wasn't happy with the set he was given, so with it being a yellow, he decides to go for another one. Finally, Gerard gets into the pits, and hopefully he'll be allowed to be serviced this time around. With any luck, his crew will be able to get that car up to snuff, so that he can continue to compete in this event. Very nicely done, and at least they apply his rear wing again. It's always something.
Tis.
As Greg is still in the pits, I wonder if he has damage that he decided to repair here.
I was just wondering that myself, but it's certainly going to go a lap down looking at it.
Well, that's unfortunate. As he now gets going, so it was a very close call.
Well, hopefully his damage has been cleared. I wonder if he's had it since his first pit stop. He's just been trying to clear it at every stop.
It could very well be the case. It looks like the safety car will be in this time around.
It does. So we'll pick up the leaders. And we'll see if we can get a nice spell of green racing.
That would be grand.
There's quite a gap between White and David Jakes.
Don't know if White
Green
is
flag, go, go,
a
go,
bit
go.
asleep here, but green flag is out once again, and here comes David Junt with a great restart, going around outside of Austin through turn 1. Both of them squirming sideways. Austin again sideways on the turn in for
Oh, he's
2.
very loose.
Wow. And David sitting behind him thinking, well, I'm pretty content sitting here just watching you guys dice it out for now. I don't want any piece of this battle.
I don't blame him one bit.
Certainly not. One hectic piece of road right up there.
The two Grant King cars are certainly battling it out as Gerard rejoins the race from pits.
Yep, and Greg Dellacella also ooh, he actually spins off on pit road. Hopefully he'll be able to get that righted without too much issues.
He's certainly got some straight line speed in that car, Austin.
Yep, and looks like Gerard up in the wall and then goes down to the
All
Indy
right,
to
yellow
park it, I
flag, back
believe.
it down.
Almost collected Lucas Glockner while doing that, but indeed Gerard is unfortunately out of this race. He's our second retirement. I did indeed oh no, he actually lost it on his own. He got let's see, it looks like he got distracted, hit the outside wall coming off the last turn and hit the inside barriers hard, and he is unfortunately out of the race as well. Oh dearie me.
Can't see the replays on my end, unfortunately, but I wonder if Gerard's damage wasn't repaired fully.
I only caught Gerard in as he was up in the wall for some reason. I wasn't able to see how he ended up there, but when he tried to get to the infield, he miscalculated it just a little bit, so he ended up in front of Lucas, and while they didn't make contact, Lucas got distracted and possibly scared by Gerard, and as unfortunately both of them out of the race.
Yes, very unfortunate indeed, especially for Lucas, with it being his first race with us. Sure
He
he
did a good.
I'm sure he hoped it would have gone a bit better for him.
Well, at least he did a great job up until that point. He didn't seem have any contact whatsoever. So while it was sort of only 17 laps, that was good outing. As David Yates heads into the pit lane.
He does. Let's see if he takes all 4 tyres.
Yep, looks like Chapman and I'm having a bit of. Looks like I'm having a bit of connection issues to the server. Not sure why that is, but David Yates is in the pit lane, and
We've got Jakes,
as is
Forster again,
yep,
Mick
and
Chapman.
Chapman by the looks of things. Marazzi as well.
Yeah. I think Forster's been enough times to have a season ticket.
Well, that's his choice.
I'm intrigued as to why David Jakes is still in the pits, or has he sustained damage at some point?
Possibly.
There's no reason why his fuel should take longer to be put in.
No, indeed not.
And the safety car is just coming onto the front stretch. And he's left the pit lane, but he's gone across the yellow line. May let that go in a yellow period, but
That guy will drop here.
and we've got another car in the pits. That's Kowalski in the Parnelli.
I unfortunately dropped from the service. I'll be there in just a moment.
Okay. As Jan Kowalski exits the pit lane again. Just as David Yates comes round to catch the back of the field. So with David pitting, it's moved Martin Lucena up into 3rd position, with Peter Hlavak in 4th and John Tim rounding out the top 5. But if we take a look at UR Boss, he's now worked his way up into 18th place, so he's slowly making his way through the field. As Dave Miller enters the pit lane in the Raz car.
Yeah, well, it looks like I'm sort of back. Need to see the RAS car as well. Another one of those lesser loved cars, so to speak, by the drivers.
Yes, quite a few
As it is.
lesser cars in the field.
Indeed.
I think the least loved one though has to be the Mongoose.
Oh, of course, but that car is actually up into 17th. It's a great outing here. A great effort. I drove that car just to have a bit of a test to see how the track is, and was a bit of a handful, got to say.
I can believe that. She doesn't look state-of-the-art technology.
May not be state-of-the-art technology, but it's not a bad car.
Green flag, go, go, go,
Doing
go.
a good job.
Looks like we're back to green. As okay, looks like Austin will hold on to the lead, onto his lead.
Yes, the two Kingfish seem to get the jump on everyone at the start.
Your team is up a few positions as well. You are both making great strides up the field. Partly due to all the pit stops, but noticed he was going up the inside back here.
Let's see if we can find him.
I
There
believe
he
he's
is.
in the 16th, just
Oops.
behind David Saber. And Saber having a bit of a go at Lucas Vydra as well.
I think
Looks like
he-
Ua wants to have a bit of a go as well, and he goes up the inside.
Those two are certainly capitalising.
Oh, for sure, you sort of have to on these tracks. So here comes Yves Placé on Vydra as well.
Jason White slowed and gone to the apron. I hope there's nothing wrong there. As Fitch nearly gets into the wall in turn 3.
Just about survived that. Was that Jason on the inside? Looks like he's definitely heading for the pits for some reason.
Yep, definitely
You
into
say
the
hope.
pits.
Yeah, but as you say, nothing bad going on there. Saber goes up the inside of Alberto Junior here, and looks like Boss wants to have a bit of a go, but decides to back off and leave the room needed. And let's see if he will have a go down the back straight here. Was Alberto's really loose with the air taking off his rear wing.
Here he comes.
Look at that draft. Ooh, a side by side, almost a bit of contact. And unfortunately, Alberto Junior loses several positions here. Maybe, wonder if he has some damage as well. He's slowing considerably.
Yes. I wonder if he was hoping to make it to the pit lane at the rate he slowed.
Possibly.
He did a great job keeping out. Oh, and we've got a slide in Jan Prusa.
Oh, and he
Just
saves
keeps it
just
going.
about.
Great
Oh,
recovery.
wow.
And he did all that without causing a yellow flag. He gets 10 points in my book.
Oh, certainly. I'll tip my hat for Lucas. That's a great recovery. That's definitely a bit of.
We've got
Well,
David Saber as retired according to my screen.
Oh, dear me, that's unfortunate. Lucas got out of the dirt here and had some run. It looks like Jason was only in for fuel and tires, and definitely, and certainly David is out of the race, and Mick Chapman is out as well by the looks of things.
Yes. Not sure quite what's gone off there. As we look at Lucina in 3rd position at the moment. Hoping to
Well,
catch...
wow!
Oh, and a big slide as he dives into the pit lane.
And that was David Saber was actually disqualified.
He was disqualified. Wow. That's interesting.
And unfortunate. Can't see why he would have been disqualified, but maybe had a penalty from a restart or something and wasn't aware of it.
Could well be, as Lucina exits the pit just as little Alberto joins. Let's see where they are in relation to Jason White. Well clear as Jason just comes out of turn 4 with a
Yep,
slide.
and the lead is not far behind, about half the straight. As Alberto unfortunately drops the lap down.
I'm sure he'll gain it back though, because I'm positive we're getting into the pit window.
We have about, what would that be,
We're on lap
25 laps in the
27.
books? Okay. And I'd suspect about, well, I'd almost expect 30 laps or something around here, but...
With the yellows, certainly. I believe 28 laps is around the going rate.
Okay.
Maybe a bit of tactics at play by a few people.
Oh, there is the option of fueling to the end, so to speak. That you short fuel the early stops so that you get a good timing for your last stop or two.
As we watch our boss going down the inside of Michael Drexler. And David Jake's following.
We're trying anyway, but Drexler was able to hold on. A little bit of clean air on the outside line. When David really sideways, he was able to hold it, and now he comes. Well, sort of not, because Drexler gets a great draft from that McLaren D up ahead. Probably now David Yates should have the run.
It goes to the inside.
But Drexler has a lot of top speed.
Oh, very close.
Ooh. I believe it was actually a bit of contact when David tried to sneak up the inside but can't quite make it.
Here he comes again.
Yep, and this time he has a bit more of a run, so looks like that should be the position deal and done here. Well, but I do believe Drexler is one of those running with lesser wing, considering how much speed he had down the front straight. Ooh, and a bit of a loose moment for him coming off 4.
I do know that Eagle is quite good on the drag due to the engine cover it has. So that will certainly be helping as well.
Oh, wasn't aware of that. Yeah, it does indeed have what you would call an optional engine cover. You can see all the rest of most of the other 72 Eagles running without an engine cover.
Yes, it's certainly unique. The Dick Simon Eagle 72.
Well, of course it's Dick Simon. Who else would come up with one of these bits to try and make the car a bit quicker? I suppose, I believe that we'll talk about the car being... Oh, as it goes on the apron, no! Oh, sorry Mikael.
Alright, yellow flag, back it down.
Commentator's curse.
Yeah. I believe the talk about the car was that engine cover caused overheating issues instead.
Yes, it certainly did in the real Indy 500. I believe Dick retired within a couple of laps.
Okie dokie.
Now this will be a golden opportunity for people to pit.
Yep, and I believe Jason will be greatly hoping for the 2 leaders to pit right here, because he's a lap down at the moment.
Yes, but crucially for him, he's already made his pit stop, so he won't gain really too much, unfortunately, because he's still behind the safety car. Yes, I think we'll see a whole flurry of cars heading to the pit lane. Alberto Ibanez making it very clear very early that he's pitting.
Yep.
they all come charging into pit lane.
Yep.
We've got the two Kingfish drag racing down the start finish straight. Down the pit lane, I should say.
Yep, and let's see who's quicker of the two crews.
We'll see if we take all 4 tyres.
Looks like both of them are.
David Junt certainly is.
Yeah, and I'm on board with David here, and Austin, and it looks like it's the same for him.
And I think David Junt has got the jump on Austin. He certainly
he has.
has.
Indeed. Wow.
That bit of overtaking in the pit lane certainly helped him.
Yep, that's one of those sayings. A second in the pit lane is worth 4 or 5 on track.
It certainly is. And the other big gainer has been Alberto Ibanez, who looks as though he's come out in 3rd, assuming everyone pitted. We'll just double check that.
Well, we have a couple, I believe, who didn't pit that time around. Bruno Chacon and Filippo Marazzi being 2 of them, and Alan Forster as well with his
Alan Forster leads the field. Yes. Bruno Chacon is pitting. You'd have to assume him hugging the apron.
Yep.
Little Al is a lap down.
He's in white, heads into the pits again for fill up the fuel. Yeah, that's interesting. So
if we check the top 10 then, after our first major set of pit stops, we've got Alan Forster, followed by Filippo Marazzi, David Junt, who as we saw got the jump on Austin Johnson in 4th, Alberto Ibanez in 5th, Petr Hlavak in 6th, Jean Tim in 7th, Adam Hackman in 8th. Been a solid runner in the top 10 all day, it seems. Ray Riddall in 9th, and Lucas Vidra in 10th. And there's your boss,
in that one.
Who you would think would have been up there with Alan. So we both pitted very early on.
Well, possibly you had decided to pit.
Again, yeah.
Let's actually have a look at that. I'll have a look and see if I can find that out. I'm not sure I can, but I'll try anyway. Unfortunately I can't, so... But I mean, considering Alan got to the front, I'd expect it to be that he decided to pit.
Yes, we'd have to assume that.
And those, unfortunately, off lap at the moment is Greg Della Cella, Jan Prusha, Jason White, and Alberto Jr.
Yes, but there's still plenty of time left to gain that lap back, should the right circumstances appear.
Of course.
But Alan Forster's got a very good chance here to get a bit of gap between himself and... You've really got to look at David Junt and Austin Johnson, because he's got, and even second place, he's got little Al in between him and Filippo. Sorry if I'm mispronouncing your name.
Well, considering how much I butcher his name every time, I think it'll be fine.
But the other bonus for Filippo is he's got Jan Prusa, the 10 out of 10 spin catcher driver, between him and David Junt.
Indeed.
But we know for a fact that David Junt and Austin Johnson are very quick off the restarts, as the safety car is pitting in. So we'll keep an eye on it. Ooh, there's a lot of tail ups. I think forced to accelerate it slightly too quick.
Green, 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 green.
Yeah, but he's away now, and Alberto doing what he can to get the run, but here comes Filippo, and he brings David and Austin with him. Let's see here comes David Junt on Marazzi.
Down the inside as they go to turn 3.
Yeah, and Austin trying to follow him through. Oh, a lot of correction on the wheel, but looks like he was able to get there.
Now let's see how quickly they can gain.
Oh, we have a yellow by the looks of things, unless that's a hangover from before.
It could be hangover from before.
Yeah, would seem like it. My apologies.
Oh, it looked as though it was... No, it was just a bit of lag. Now the two Kingfish drivers need to work together here to get back up with Alan.
Yep, just like they did before when the green flag was out for a while. And looks like Marazzi can hang with the cars, so looks like he's stabilized himself in 6th position for the moment.
He certainly
which is nice
has.
to see. That's nice to see that once he gets up there, he can definitely race with the seemingly faster drivers. But looks like David and Austin is reeling in Alan here, so Alan won't be in the lead for long, I don't think.
Gap at the last split was 0.8 seconds to David Jung.
Oh, that's not good. We have Dave Miller is smoking here. Believe it was.
Find him.
Believe it's Dave anyway. Number 58. He's currently in 17th. Was smoking down the back straight, but maybe that's.
Oh no, it's
no, he's still smoking.
Or is it Jan Prusa? No,
oh yeah, it is. It's Jan
Lucas Vidra, sorry.
Lucas Vidra actually smoking. Oh dear me, that's not good either.
He's certainly running that engine a bit hot. Be surprised if it'll last the course. Doing that.
Well, it could be that it's a hangover from the yellow flag, but that's definitely a troublesome prospect with smoking this early.
I'll go quickly back to the front of the field because the gap is coming down all the time, and they're right on Alan Force's tail now.
Yep, and here comes David with a massive run. If he decides, he wastes no time whatsoever and goes up the inside.
Well, David needs to use this time to try and get a lead to Austin, who's right behind Alan.
Yep, and oh, Alan moving around.
That's usual
more
for
than
him.
I would have. Yeah, but he was moving around a bit more than I would expect.
Oops.
Ooh, and that was close for Austin. He got on the apron just a little bit, but was able to stabilize the car. Won a lot of correction in the middle of 2.
Here he comes again. Looking to the inside, has he got enough momentum?
Well, I'm trying to hang around outside. When he
managed.
He hangs on. Wow, that's impressive. Been good racing as well. Looks like Alan might let him go here.
I think he's going to make him work for it. But in that one lap, David Junt has built a 1.1 second lead.
Well, of course, David is one of those who has won 500-mile races here at HSO before. He won, I believe, 2 of the 500 milers in the 88 series with completely different cars, of course, but he did win 2 of those, of them by 0.002 of a second.
Very close those two as Austin manages to get past.
That was one big tail slide, but able to make it work.
It's a nice little battle here. You are boss, mate. I think Riddle and Boss have both passed Marazzi to go into 8th and 9th place respectively. Now Remon's having a look at Marazzi down the inside and takes the place. Well, he runs wide and Filippo heads to the apron. Now it's Peter Hlavak's turn to try and get past Alan Forster. And he does so going into turn 3. I'm sure he'll be swiftly on his way. So with Forster pitting earlier, he's on obviously older tyres.
It is. But Alberto is a very fair driver, so he will I believe he'll make a clean move here. He goes up the inside and David Yates tries to go with him, but they ain't quite able to. Oh, he actually dives up the inside and into 4. Ooh.
Does he get the move done though? 'Cause Forster will have the toe now.
All goes again upside into 1 by looks of things. This time he will have to run off the corner as Alan had to back off.
Alright, yellow flag,
And
back
with
it
a
down.
yellow flag somewhere. And it's Jan Prusa.
Oh, I did notice he was in a bit of a spot of bother before. Close fight with one of the other fellows near the back of the field. Looks like he's lost it in the last turn. Was this a rear wing? Possibly. No, he didn't, but fortunately he has been forced to retire, as has Drexler. Fortunately didn't notice that before, but
We saw him go off on turn 1, was it? Jan Prusa pulls off in...
Oh yeah, we did, my apologies.
I keep calling them wrong, I'm so sorry. Lucas Vidra pulls off into the infield and his engine has finally blown.
Yeah, that's unfortunately not too big of a surprise considering it's been smoking for quite a while.
But this safety car is just the thing Austin Johnson needed to get back right behind David Junt. But they look very similar pace-wise.
It is indeed, and they do indeed. I mean, it's really impressive to see them drive. Looks like David is considering heading into the pits here. No, he does the fake. But we have David Yates and Alan Forster into the pits.
Well, we knew we'd be having Alan Forster.
Fair enough. David Yates heads into the pits as well.
I wonder if he's making changes to the car, because I really did expect him to be more up the front, but he seems to be struggling a bit. So as we know, he's a quality racer.
He's a very knowledgeable setuper as well, so wouldn't be surprised if he's trying to get the car to where he would like it to be, as Jan Kowalski goes into the pits as well, as is Filippo Marazzi.
So they all make their way out of the pits now to catch up with the tail of the field. And while we've got this small break, we can have a look at the Gold Star points. So as you can see from on screen, we've got Austin Johnson in first place on 45 points, and David Jakes second with 36, and then you've got a trio of people, which is myself, David Junt and Pascal Mikola, all on 12. So realistically, the only two people that could win this title are Austin Johnson and David Jakes. Now, as it stands, if Austin Johnson finishes second, he will get 12 points, and that will be enough for the title. So David really needs to finish in front of Austin here, and that's maybe why he's pitting so much. Just try and find that little bit more performance.
Indeed, and with it being a 500 miler, anything can happen, because it's a very confined piece of road. So
it is that. It's a very tough and mental drain race, especially when yellow flags start mounting up.
Indeed, I still believe we've had a couple of good green flag runs.
We have that. If we have a quick look, we are on lap 49 out of the 200, so we're coming up on a quarter distance. So it's not been too bad so far.
No, then we had nearly 20 laps of green flag running here, and for the previous yellow we had like maybe 15-16 laps of green flag.
Yes, very good.
So it is getting up there. We only need, let's hope for like 40 or 50 laps this time around.
Let's hope so. That's all we can do, hope. But we've certainly had plenty of good green flag running.
Certainly, yes, we have Martin Lassina into the pits for a quick fill up of fuel and possibly tyre change.
Oh, he's missed his pit stall. He's just had to reverse. But luckily it's under yellow, so it's not too much of a problem. But if you do that under green flag racing, you've lost yourself a whole heap of positions.
Indeed, but that was a very quick.
It looked as though he only changed the right hand side tyres.
Well, possibly filled up the fuel then and took care of the right side tyres.
Yeah.
Looking for any kind of performance advantage he gets.
So as he returns, the safety car is now pitting in, so it'll be up to David Junt to lead the field as we're getting close to going to green again.
Yep. And hopefully we'll have, as we said before, good blur green flag laps here, and And good battles to come along with it as Austin tries to get a run, but David goes at the perfect time and gets a jump on Austin. And Lavach loses out a bit of time as well. Alberto to the inside to try and defend his 4th position. And he holds on. Oh, I can see one car very wide through turn 1 back there. Maybe that was possibly... I can get the name. I believe that was Bruno Chacon running very wide through turn 1.
Is he on the lead lap or is he a lap down? I'm not 100% sure.
I believe he's... Well, my lap counter is completely messed up, but he's in 12th. He has Dave Miller right behind him, so I believe they are still on the lead lap. Yep, they are, because there's Alan Forster behind them as well, and he's not a lap down yet either, I don't think.
He's not, no.
And of course Martin Lacina as well, so those two scrapping for position. That's Lacina getting by, and that's the right side, new right side tires helping him there. And Greg Della Cella doing what he can to unlap himself and put himself in a better position if there is something to happen to the lead few cars. He now goes up. Ooh.
Contact there on the back straight, looking at that. Slight misunderstanding, it's
Yeah. And both Lacina and Khalida ran wide as well. That allows Jan Kowalski to get by Khalida.
And a bit further up we've got David Jakes making solid ground. Those fresh tyres certainly helping out. Austin very close to the back of David.
Yeah, but it looks like he's pretty happy to sit there for now and just save a little bit of fuel.
It's a very good point, that.
Just like David was allowed to do for the opening bit of the race.
As you are, boss gets down the inside of John Tim for 5th place.
I think John is a fairly clever racer as well, so I don't think he put up too much of a fight there.
No, it's a long race and we've got a long way to go. Everyone is trying to keep up with these two Kingfish, but no one really seems to be able to do it. We've got brilliant pace between the pair of them.
Indeed. Here goes David Yakes and Bruno Chacon down the front straight, but Bruno has a lot of top end speed. Running in the Coyote 74, definitely one of the weakest car on the field.
I think David Jakes may get the job done this time. Oh, that's a very tight squeeze.
Alright, yellow flag.
Oh, there's a bit of contact in mid-corner as well. David just about keeps it out of the wall.
I don't know who the yellow's for. I'll try and find out.
That's unfortunate. Alberto Junior, who's off onto the infield.
Is that Remen with a blown engine? He's smoking in the pit lane.
Possibly.
Yes, he's pulling into the garages, so it certainly is.
That's unfortunate. Looks like Alberto Junior has a little bit of damage to his car.
He's on the infield.
Yeah, that's suspension damage on the rear right, I'd say. And I do know he was in a fight with a couple of drivers just a little while ago, so possibly that they came to blows one way or another, and that's unfortunately another.
We've got several cars off. I think it's due to the checking up of the field as they all catch up with the safety car. It's Greg Delicella who went onto the infield also. And we've got more cars in the pits. So we've got Pascal Kalida, Alan Forster, Mark Craggs, Adam Hackman, Jason Fitch, I believe that's his first stop of the day, John Timms in, Yves Placé, Dave Miller, Austin Johnson's in again, and is David Junt, and you are boss. We'll see who gets out first. Well, Hlavak has beaten all of them.
This is possibly the second full field stop, so to speak. And Alberto's done a great job with that stricken number 4 Eagle 72 to make it to the pits.
Well, let's see if we can get him back out there.
Hopefully they will be able to do that. Stops very nicely in its pit box, so unfortunately Francois Remen, of course, out of this race with his blown engine. It's unfortunate.
I think if we have a look, see if we can get a running order after that. Let's just take a look. And we've got another car in the pits. I'm not sure who that is.
I believe that was Jason White.
Yeah. So at the front we have Ray Riddell, followed by Bruno Chacon. David Jakes has made it into third. That stop he did just before seems to have done wonders, as it has for Lucina. They occupy third and fourth. Jan Kowalski, another one who pitted before, is in fifth. Marazzi is in sixth. Hlavak is probably the genuine leader. He's the first one who pitted. And then you've got the two Kingfish of David Junt and Austin Johnson. And I believe, do they round out the top 10? No, Alberto Ibanez rounds out the top 10, sorry. But we're now on lap 58 of 200. As I'm sure all our viewers can see, there is a ticker bar going across the top of the screen. That should give you an idea of where your favourite drivers are in the race. So, another yellow. Let's hope it's not going to become a recurring thing, because as the saying says, yellows breed yellows. Hopefully now though, we can have another good run of green flag racing and see Petter, David and Austin power through the field. But it's also interesting to see what David Yates can do from there.
Indeed, as it sounded like everyone was getting down, but it looks like it. It looks like the safety car is heading in. So
another quick, short yellow period. Now Ray needs to not go too soon, otherwise we'll be checking up further down the field. I think that's potentially what caused another one of the yellows. He's left a nice clean gap. As he accelerates, that means we've got a green flag.
Go, 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 go!
Yep, he goes down.
And it's near enough 4 wide.
Whoa. My
This
God,
has
it's
got
David.
to end in tears.
Oh dear me, it's almost 4 wide through turn 1. That's let's see, Bruno Chacon, Lavac, Johnson. And then there's Alberto Ibanez in there as well as Yves Passet, you have Boss.
It's...
Yon team.
Oh, we've got a car
spinner.
spearing to inside. And that's Filippo. And he's into the wall.
Oh, that's so unfortunate.
We just saw it in the rear of the shot. If he exits out quickly, then we will get away with no yellow. But
Looks like he wants to try and keep on the engine is still running, so he'll try to get repairs. But if he stays towards the apron, we should. Unfortunately, Spin's trying to get going, so
let's try and get back up
see if
to
we
the
can-
front.
yeah, see we.
He
I'll keep a
stopped
look
on the
Filippo.
racing surface, it seems. And now he's going back to the inside. I think that car is terminally broken.
Well, possibly.
As the two Kingfish nearly get into each other.
I'll follow that and I'll keep a look here, just in case.
It's David Jakes, he's managed to work himself to the front, followed by Ray Riddle and Martin Lucena. And then it's the two Kingfish boys. It's still David in front of Austin. This is just what David Jakes needs though. Himself up front and a few cars between him and Austin.
Indeed, that's great for his championship hopes in this Gold Star Series.
And we've got Lucena down the inside of Ray Riddle, as goes David Junt and Austin Johnson. He really ran wide in turn 3. And we've still no yellow flag.
Oh, with a bit of luck, we'll be able to keep the racing green. And
Fingers
Filippo doing
crossed.
a great job. Filippo doing a great job staying well off the racing line to allow room if someone goes for the apron and into the pits. Great job, Filippo. I really hope the pit crew can fix that car. As now, Asile now try to get back into the action as well. But unfortunately for David, it doesn't looks like he'll be pulling away. So it'll be hard for him to stay in front. But
Well, at the moment he's got half-second lead over Martin Lucena.
I don't think it's quite that much right now. Looks a lot closer.
Do we know if Filippo's been able to make it back to the pits?
Yep, he got into the pits, was able to stay well off the racing line after he rejoined on the apron, so that's a great job from him. As Alberto now goes up the inside of Yves, going into turn 3. Yves really late going into turn 3, almost runs into the back of Jan Kowalski up ahead. But this is another great scrap in this long speed necklace of cars.
It looks as though the field settled down into a bit of a rhythm. Seems no major overtaking attempts.
Well, apart from Alberto here trying to get a run onto the back straight again, Yves sideways. This should be Alberto's opportunity to get by and maybe get up into 9th, but Yves has the draft from Jan up ahead and possibly slightly low wings, so Not this time for Alberto. Ooh, as I believe
I think he's just brushed the wall there.
Yeah, definitely looked like it. At least he scraped the wall.
Oh, Alberto, so much quicker going into turn 1.
Yep, but
Is
he's hit
that
the wall
more
hard this time.
contact?
Yep, that'll be a damaged car. He's really sideways here.
Oh, so close.
My God, he was able to hold on to it.
And here comes
If
John
he
Team.
survives with that car. John Team decides to back off. If Eves is able to survive with that car now that it's probably bent, I will be amazed. Alberto trying to find a way past. We're getting really close. Wow.
He's alongside, but the straight line speed of a Cobra Firestone Eagle is more than
Whoa.
He's on the inside.
That's one brave move right there, but he is able to pull it off.
Oh, and he gets a bit. Oh, Eve's getting a bit of a tank slapper there. Now Adam Hackman in the sister car to Eves, having a look at John.
And John having a look on Eves, and Eves having a look on Alberto. A great four-way scrap here as Eves runs very wide.
Now
This
John
could
Team.
open up Yep, could open up an opportunity for him. As Eves, I believe, may have nudged the wall again now. Here comes Jon up looking for the inside into one. Jon backs off. Jon proving to be very patient here.
And there's certainly a train gathering behind Eves. I think that may be down to a bit of damage he's received. Or he's
and Eves
backed
actually
off.
pulls off. I assume he thought enough is enough. He'll head for the pits for repairs.
We'll see if he does, as Bruno gets down onto the apron, and that causes him to get very out of shape. And that means Alan Forster's all over the rear of him.
Yep, Eves heads into the pit lane. That'll surely be for repairs.
And Filippo's back out on track. Alberto's just put a lap on him. Or maybe quite a few. As Alberto spins!
Yeah, that's Jan Kowalski. That's Jan Kowalski. Oh dearie me, that's so
Jan Kowalski, sorry, I do apologise.
Oh. Don't think no, that's his engine out as well, so that's unfortunately
He was missing
Jan
a few
retiring
wheels,
from the
so
race. Yeah.
that doesn't help either.
I could only see one lost wheel, so that's why I thought he may have been able to keep it going. As we can see here, gets just a little bit loose with the air taking off his rear wing, and goes on, gets down on the apron, and that's enough to fortunately send him into the outside wall.
Oh, in all that drama, at some point, Austin Johnson has got past David Young. And David Jake still leads from Martin Lucena. Whether the Kingfish boys purposefully swapped to both save on the fuel mileage, I don't know.
But considering David was running behind them and they were pulling away from the rest of the field when we got our first green flag run, maybe that's what David is hoping for, that they'll make their way up the field.
Don't know.
They run like that, but looks like we have that's probably Bruno Chacon heading towards the pit lane.
Some teasing.
David heads in as well.
Doing an Uncle Bobby trick and getting in front of the pace car to maximise the advantage. So we know that David Jakes is pitting out of sync with the two Kingfish cars, but as we saw from the last yellow period, it certainly helped him out.
Yep, and I believe he's fueling towards the end of the race.
And he's taking 4 tyres.
Yep, he may as well. He'll still be first out of the pits.
And he'll be followed by Ray Riddall, he's not doing a bad thing following David Jakes.
No, and then it's Lacina, followed by Forster.
Well,
looks like it'll be Chacon. No, Chacon actually, it looks like Chacon passed Forster on pit road.
Dave Miller's on pit road as well.
Hopefully he doesn't have too much damage to repair. Looks like he's been here for a little bit longer than what would be expected.
So as before, we've got the 2 Kingfish out front again, with Austin Johnson in the lead, closely followed by David Young. UR Boss is up into 4th. That's a great effort considering where he was in the early stages of the race.
Yep, and Dave Miller just about beats the pace car out by half the straight, so he remains on the lead lap.
That's good to hear.
That beautiful mongoose.
Yeah.
Sorry, the RAS car, of course. My apologies.
The mongoose is beautiful as well. Let's not discriminate that car.
No, it's even more beautiful.
It is.
She's sort of looks like a cheese wedge, but
it does.
That's what makes it. That's what makes it beautiful.
Yep. So where has David Yates come out? Let's have a quick look at
he is 11th.
11th place. So he's not been affected too badly by that pit stop. He's still in a good position. But incredibly, that mongoose is running in 10th. Pit stops have played a factor, we'll admit, but it's still great to see it up there.
Yeah, he's doing a great job keeping that car on track.
The old girl's still got some life in her yet.
For sure.
As we've got some checking up. So, the people not on the lead lap at the moment are... Let's have a look at the leaderboard. We've got Jason White, Greg Delacella, who's in the pits again, Little Al, and Filippo Marazzi, who is 6 laps down, but that's understandable with the damage he received.
Indeed.
So in total we've got 20 runners left.
Which is still a pretty good effort with, I'd expect about 70-75 laps in the books now.
Yep, 73 laps done.
Looks like this pace car is heading towards the pits again, so
Catch
another
up with
fairly
the
short
leaders.
yellow here. Of course, it's Austin Johnson again at in the control of the field. Let's see what he can do right here as he goes fairly early.
Green flag, go, go,
And
go,
David
go!
tries to stay with him, and Lavac loses out on that kind of restart.
Young goes to the outside, but he's unable to get around.
Ooh, and Austin on the apron nearly loses it, a massive slide.
I don't think it helps David being that close to him. We know his car's loose to begin with, but with the air taken off the rear and right down to the apron to break the toe.
Won't be happening here when it's his teammate. Wouldn't be overly surprised if they're running pretty much the same setup. Both of them really close to the outside wall. And a snake going on down the front straight. It already looks like they're sort of breaking away from Lavach and Bose.
Yes. I do wonder if your boss may be able to keep pace with him if he gets clear. But then again, he's not really all over the rear of Lavach.
No, indeed.
This is certainly a battle.
Oh,
back
Austin
here.
hit the wall. Austin actually hit the wall then.
Oof. And
Oh,
again!
Wow, this ain't good for him. If he damages the car, this would
And
be a
here
very
comes
long and
David
gruesome
Young.
This will be a long and gruesome 125 laps if the car is damaged and he's on the apron. I believe that those couple of wall hits rattled him.
See, the thing is with Austin, we don't know whether his car is damaged or that's just his loose car setup. We're always a bit unsure. We know he's...
Considering how loose he runs the car, I suppose.
Whoa, and David Young! He's hit the wall! He got down on the apron.
A great job of recovering the car, but that's quite a bit of damage, I believe, on his car.
I think that's a puncture as well on the right rear. He's going to bring it to a stop to try and make the pit lane, but that's not the wisest tactic there. But he's
Well, it worked.
It has. And no yellow flag again, which is great to hear. It's not so great for David Young.
Of course not, he was trying to follow Austin, but unfortunately he was on the apron, and that's enough to send the car sideways. Austin, of course, out alone in front now, but how is his car actually feeling here?
We'll see if there's any traces of damage, but it may be feeling better without the air being took off his rear wing.
I'm not so sure. He's doing a lot of correction on the wheel as David now unfortunately drops a lap down. Austin, so much correction on the wheel. That's definitely a bit more correction than it was before, I believe, so that's a little bit, at least a little bit more, little bit of damage on the rear, putting just a bit more oversteer in the car.
Either way though, he's romping away from the field, it looks like.
Yeah, well, if you know how to drive an oversteer car, it doesn't matter if it gets more oversteer.
It doesn't. He's in second, third and fourth are all very close. I'm sure they'll all be sizing each other up.
Yep, and that's of course Lavach, Bose and Alberto Senior.
Was that David Young just coming out of the pit lane now? Yep.
Yep, and Alberto had a massive run onto the back straight. Here he comes on UR Bose, goes up the inside, going towards turn 3.
And
He gets up into third position.
gets the move done.
See if UR can do anything now.
Oh, as
Oh, and
Alberto
Alberto
gets a bit out of shape.
Wow! Nicely held, Alberto. That would have been a close moment, and he's still sideways. Now we'll finally be able to take a moment to find his composure again.
As we ride on board with UR.
Oh, as
he
he makes
brushed the
contact with the
wall.
wall.
that dirty air is certainly playing effect on the cars today.
For sure. Considering they are going at I believe around 160 to 180 miles an hour through the corners, you need all the aero you can get.
I think that little grease with the ball has just dropped him too far behind Alberto to get a good toe, as Alberto gets on the apron again, and a slight slide.
Of course, we also need to consider what the damage is to US cars. He actually drops a gear there, by the sounds of things.
That is interesting.
So he was trying to run in the drafting gear, but he lost too much revs, I think. So he switched to his clean air gear again, or racing gear, so to speak.
That's something I never bothered with when I race, so.
Neither do I just know that some drivers do that stuff.
Yeah. As we have a quick look at David Jakes, he's worked his way onto the back of John Tim. And it's all going to be quiet out on track now. Everyone seems to have settled into a nice rhythm. Apart from
more or
the
less.
slide here and there.
And oh, I'm watching David's car. It seems very, very consistent, especially in this sort of dirty air situation. And again, of course, David is doing the correct inputs to work the dirty air, but the car is definitely not working against him in this case.
It's not quite close enough to capitalise on the toe, but I think.
Well, we had to think about it. Well, if he gets. If he can get a good run here, he'll definitely have a look down the back straight now.
Without a doubt. So we'll have a look on board.
Yep, here he comes.
And down the inside, and he makes it look as simple as that.
Was all but simple, I'll tell you that.
The good drivers make it look simple though. That's the beauty of it.
Indeed. Too bad I'm not a good driver in novels. I don't think I've put a racing pass on anyone, as we have. It will have been possibly Alberto Junior in the pits. Yep, it was, for a quick fill up of fuel and a couple of tires, presumably. As Austin, as you mentioned earlier, is romping away with this.
He's certainly got into the groove now, and that could well be it. He could be off and away, barring any more yellows. Which I'll be surprised if we don't have it anymore. He's got a 5.3 second lead over Petter, who looks as though he's got just a bit too much pace for Alberto and you are. What David Jakes is certainly travelling. He's already put a good gap between him and John Tim in the space of half a lap.
Yep.
As he bears down on Adam Hackman. I'd be interested to know lap time difference between Austin and David Jakes, Because they both seem to be the quickest cars on track at the moment in terms of comparing to cars around them.
Well, because of the dirt, yeah, I don't think it'll be overly representative. I unfortunately can't check due to me leaving the server earlier, but David, now with a run on Adam, and it looks like he should be able to get by on the start-finish straight here.
We'll stay on board then with him.
Definitely getting closer, not sure if it'll be close enough in time. He is.
Goes down the inside and gets a move done.
Yep, Adam sort of letting him go as well. It's sort of understandable. It's still early in the race. We're barely crashing halfway here.
No, there's still a good old distance left, and anything can happen.
Indeed, as it looks like Jason Fitch is headed for the pits. Very slowly, so possibly with some damage to his car.
I'm not sure when the next pit window will be. I don't think it's this soon though.
Well, we have another one heading for the pits as well.
It may well be then, I'm not 100%, it's John Team.
Yeah, so that should be pretty much pit stop time then. He pitted with everyone else. So within the next 5 laps I'd assume to see everyone. And if it's John Team misses his pit stall by but a car length, that could prove very costly. Jason White into the pits as well.
It's certainly pit window time then. As David Junt is around the back of Martin Lucena, but as we know, is that Austin Johnson in the pits as well? It is. Oh, and he nearly gets collected by John Team.
Alberta heading into the pits as well.
There he is.
That's Jason White. Looks like his car is crabbing just a little bit. Still struggling with a bit of a bent car.
So as Austin Johnson now comes out of pit lane.
Alberto leaves just after him. Mark Craggs is in the pits as well, and here's Mongoose heading from 11th position by the looks of things.
Klavak, the race leader, is now in the pits. So it's certainly pit stop time, as UR Boss takes the lead with David Jakes right behind him.
Yep.
So we'll see how many more laps.
It looks like Bose is into the pits now. He fades to the apron.
Yes, as he comes through turn 4, he'll be slowly lifting off the accelerator.
Yep, and as David continues.
So Adam Hackman follows him in. Cena stays out. Rudolph stays out, but they all pitted before, if you remember.
Yep.
So we've certainly got 2 different groups of cars pitting at different times. It'll be interesting to see how it works out.
Suppose it sort of depends how, if there is another yellow, how it works out towards the end of the race.
Yes, more than... It could certainly get very interesting.
David continues. I expect him to have at least another 10 laps in the tank, as it looks like Pascal Khalid is in for damage repairs. He's been in the pits for a while now. When David almost brushes the wall then, with a bit of a loose moment out of 1. He comes up on Adam Hackman to put a lap on him as well. Adam very sportingly backs off.
So we've got David Jakes in the lead. With
All
a
right, yellow flag.
yellow
Second down.
flag. I'm not sure where that is or who's caused it.
I'm trying to find it now. It looks like it could be Jason Fitch, possibly. I believe it will have been Jason Fitch.
Oh, he's retired, whatever it may have been. Yeah, he got into a wall on the exit of turn 2.
And unfortunately, I'd assumed that Indian died, considering he stayed up there and couldn't get down again.
Let's see if we can have a look at this. Managed to get the replay working.
Okay, as David Jung heads into the pits in the meantime.
It looks as though he just ran way too wide going into turn 2. Oh, he's lost it in turn 1.
That's unfortunate.
So if we look here, he's coming into turn 1. He's run a bit wide. He's decided I'm keeping my foot in it. And then he's had half a spin. And gone into the turn 2 barrier. And then lag takes over and we're not sure what happens.
Well, it could be one of those I'm tired of this car misbehaving.
It could well be.
I assume, but considering, I mean, if it did indeed go full throttle, but I noticed Dave Miller was running in 7th here before he heads into the pits with his race car.
So our leader David Jakes is in the pits. I'm sure he was probably hoping for a few more laps on the green.
Well, maybe it depends on how much fuel he had left. Maybe this is the perfect timing for him.
It could well be. We will not be 100% certain. But if we go by your estimations of where we believe he had around 10 laps left worth of fuel.
It's only my assumption. It's
Well, your assumption is better than mine, usually.
not so sure about the oval side of that, but we'll go with it for now. It could be just a little bit early, but maybe he's seeing that his fuel lasts enough for him to make it home on whatever it is, 3 stops from now or something. I believe we're just as we're around the halfway point, maybe a little bit more.
We'll have a double check. And we're on lap 95, so yeah, we're coming up on that halfway point. As we've got more cars in the pits. I think these are the cars that are a lap down, and they've been given the all clear to pit.
Then I'll be right back just to get something to drink.
Okay. So while Jonatan's away, and not much is happening in the race. If you can hear someone coughing, it is me, and I do apologise. I'll just find the leader. So the leader is Austin Johnson, but he's not leading the pack. I can't find him. There he is. So if we just have a quick look at the fuel rules, as you can see on your screens now, a driver cannot use more than 280 gallons of fuel during the whole race. So that equates to about 6 pit stops. Obviously some drivers have had a lot more, due to the yellow flags. And as with the 2 previous 500-mile races we've done this year, they will get thrown out of the results if they exceed that amount. So we've got Austin Johnson in the lead, we've got Petr Hlavak in second, right behind him, Boss in third, again right behind him. In fourth is Alberto Ibanez, who is right behind Boss. Then David Jakes up in sixth. He's on the newest tyres of all that bunch. Same with Alan Forster, who pitted at the same time. And it looks as though the safety car is coming in. So
it is indeed.
And we welcome Jonatan back. I hope he's brought me a drink as well.
I tried, but it's a bit of a long journey.
It is, yeah. We're not as close as Murray and James.
Unfortunately not. Oh, as there's a bit of a stack up on the restart for our leader Johnson. Oh, and there's a bit of contact there as well between Alberto Jr. and whoever that would have been, Jason White by the looks of things.
And in all that, Alberto Ibanez has got a fantastic jump on several cars, up, so he's up in second place.
Wow, right behind Austin as well, and Austin being slightly held up by Pascal Khalida.
Yeah, he'll be wanting to clear.
Here comes Hlavak as well, so it's 2x2 around, was 3 wide!
The two Parnelli teammates nearly collected each other then.
Jason White will have had his heart in his mouth there. That was a really close call.
It was a close call, but it was good driving by Petr Hlavak to block Alberto Ibanez in slightly.
It was indeed.
As it looks as though they're both trying to get the run on Austin.
Oh, and Alberto very nearly hits the outside barriers there.
And on his brand new tyres, David Jakes is up into fourth and closing rapidly on Alberto.
Well, this will be interesting to watch. Let's see what he can do.
I do feel now, if we're correct in what we believe that Austin has got damage, David Jakes could well be the fastest car on track at the moment.
Indeed. Wes Johnson is into the pits.
That's very surprising. Has he got a penalty or?
Well, he could have had. I mean, there was a big stack up on the restart. And pardon me, I'm having a bit of a snack.
It's okay. We'll just see what happens. I think it's a stop and go. He's got the engine ready to drop the clutch. And is away, but that is ideal scenario for David Jakes in the championship.
Yep, as he gets up into second, gets by Alberto Ibanez going into turn 3.
And now he'll be all over Petr.
Indeed.
All those pit stops, whatever he's done in them, it certainly made the car work better for him, and it certainly seems a brilliant car in traffic.
Yep, and that's sort of what he's needed because of his pit stop strategy.
If we take a look, Austin Johnson has come out in 10th place.
As David is heading for the lead and gets the lead here. Gets by Hlavak into turn 3.
Now this is the time he needs to just concentrate, get his foot down and create as much gap as possible.
And hope there is no yellow.
Yeah, that's the big praying part. That bit is out of his hands.
And of course ahead of him is Team and Hackman trying to stay on the lead lap.
They are. If we just try and find Austin Johnson, he's just coming into turn 4 and exiting turn 4, so he's just coming onto the front straight.
Well, that dropped him a lot of time then.
Certainly did, but he didn't lose a lap, so that's a very vital part.
Indeed. So all he needs is a yellow and he'll be up there again.
Yep. As we've got Alberto Ibanez looking at Petr Hlavac as he comes to the inside and makes a move stick. He runs a bit wide. But Alberto is certainly experienced enough on ovals and he'll know what he's doing.
Oh, for sure. He's of course one of the people that helped create this mod, so knows the cars very well as well.
He does that. Him and Jason are pivotal people in the mod.
It's great to see him up near the front, doing a fantastic job with this Valpanelli Jones car. With a Viceroy sponsorship.
As David Yates closes on the 2 back markers. Now I imagine he'll put them a lap down in the next 2 or 3 laps. Alberto looks to be pulling away from Petr, so he's certainly got some pace in that Parnelli Eagle.
Yep, but I'm pretty sure they won't cause too much trouble for him. Both of them are very fair drivers from what I've seen. I haven't raced Jon that much, but a little bit of racing I've done with him, he's been very fair. Of course, Adam is definitely one of the fairer racers here. So.
He certainly is that.
The grammar of that wasn't too good, but oh well.
As the Cena goes up the inside of Alan Forster.
Well, that said, Jon Team and Adam Hackman ain't making it easy for...
Ooh! Is that
oh, and they've actually hit the
wall?
inside wall. Dear me. I'm not sure Jon realized David had a run there.
No. And he's hit the wall again.
Well, hopefully that straightened out his car, considering he hit both sides of the car now.
You'd hope so, but it's lost him it's lost him a good amount of time. Luckily he had quite a lead over Alberto. But it's not what you want when you come into lap cars. You're hoping they're going to have an eye in the mirrors, but I think at that point Jon was a bit preoccupied trying to pass Adam, which is understandable.
Well, partly that, and then there's the sort of oval generalism that if you're about to drop a lap, you're still allowed to fight for the position up until you're lap down.
Ooh, as he gets sideways, David Jakes.
Yeah, David's car is definitely damaged. I'd assume the left rear, as he again drops it to the outside wall, so the car is veering slightly to the right for him.
And Austin Johnson, meanwhile, he's lapping solidly. He looks as though he's closing the gap on the field. The next person for him is Bruno Chacon, who was just entering turn 3. Sorry, the next car for him is Dave Miller, who's just in the middle of turn 3 as Austin enters turn 3 now.
And David definitely working with damage now. He stopped a heap of pace. While that's going on behind. But Dave doing a great job in that race car, running 9th.
He certainly is. He's certainly exceeding the car's expectations.
Indeed, and so is, I'd say, Mark Craggs in the Mongoose running 30th.
I'll have a look at Dave Miller here. He was running very consistently.
That slightly quirky mirror layout of the race car.
Yeah, very unusual, but unusual in today's day and age. But back then, it seemed to be quite normal. I've seen several pictures.
Alright, yellow flag, back it down.
And we've got a yellow flag. Who is this? It's Pascal Kalida's going slow. We'll see if we can see what happens as he comes into turn 1 onto the
loses it.
apron
Yep.
and back into the wall. But it looks as though he may have got away with it.
I believe the gearbox may have taken most of the. Well, gearbox slash engine took most of that hit, so hopefully he'll be more or less okay. Maybe this is the opportunity for David to repair his car just a little bit.
We'll certainly see. So we're under yellow flag, we're on lap 111 of 200. As we scroll through the field trying to pick up the leader. I think we're going to have a few cars entering the pits here. We're in a pit window, I believe.
Yep.
We've got David Jakes. In You Are Boss, Petr Hlavac, Alan Forster, who you'd expect.
Pretty much half the field, yeah.
There is Sina, Ibanez, Chacon. I think the only people that stopped out are the lap down cars who aren't allowed to pit yet. So with the pit stops, it means...
Looks like David is indeed repairing the car. Many people getting out ahead of him. Here comes Johnson among them. Oh, and someone blew their engine on the... Oh no, you've got to be kidding me! Dave Miller blew his engine on the pit road!
Oh, that's unfortunate. Very unfortunate.
And he was doing such a great job with that car as well.
Yeah, a big pile of smoke there. That is unfortunate. So, after those pit stops, we've got Ray Radall in the lead. We're seeing a second, Boss third. So You Are Boss got the jump there. I'm not sure if Lucina pitted. No,
yes, it did.
he did. Well, he's got the jump there then.
Yep, and David was able to repair his car and get out ahead of the pace car, as has Peter Lavach.
So now we've got all the lapped cars pitting in. Here is David Yates just coming out of turn 4 to catch up to the tail of the field. Trying to catch up to the tail of the field. He'll certainly get there. Lavach has followed him into the pits. So with the lengthy pit stoppers, Lavach had damage too.
Yeah, presumably. If it was damage that really needed repairs, or if it was simply a forgetting to turn off the repairs, it's difficult to tell.
So now on track we have the 2 championship contenders together. We have Austin Johnson right in front of David Jakes.
Yep, and I noticed something else. I believe David is only a lap down, right?
David Young.
Mm-hmm.
He is.
He's now at the head of the field.
Well, he'll be praying for an immediate yellow flag.
Yep.
As Adam Hackman pits. He was in second, I believe.
Yep.
Quite surprised he's pitted now and not before. So he was
Well,
on the lead lap.
I believe he was just barely on the lead lap.
Well, he was one of the 2 cars battling in front of David Jakes, so he was certainly on the lead lap when the yellow came out.
Yep. Well, we know John pitted, so, and he's a lap down, so it would seem, I believe at least John is a lap down. If not, then he's just off the lead lap. Sorry, just barely on the lead lap again. So
As Adam Hackman comes out of the pits now.
yeah, but as you said just now, 2 championship contenders nose to tail on track. This will be an interesting altercation between the, if there is one.
It shall, as the safety car is coming in. So it's up to Ray Riddell to lead. Well, David Young, but he'll just want to get on with it and be gone.
Green, 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 green.
As we go back to green, and he's certainly done that. He's off and away. As Austin Johnson looks to the outside of Bruno Chacon, and Lavach
No, but
has
really loose. Oh, and I believe that, well, there may even have been a bit of contact then.
Lavach has passed David Jakes, but now comes David Jakes back at him.
Yeah, it was right on the restart. I don't know if Lavach had a bit of a running start. But
Quite possibly. We certainly get very crowded these starts, but Martin Lucina is going to lead the first lap back under green.
Yep, and David will be hoping Alan can hold Austin behind him here, so he can close in. And Alan definitely doing what he can to stay ahead.
We'll have a look from Alan's rear wing.
Looks like David could have a bit of a run.
They're both looking down to him inside.
Oh dearie me, nearly 3 wide again in turn 3. Alan is now on the outs.
He's trying to stay there, but he's unable. Now Peter Hlavac has got the run.
And David will want to get by Alan here, if he can. He doesn't want to get stuck behind him again.
Oh,
Nearly contact.
oh, David Jakes. Oh,
Wow.
he managed to keep hold of that one.
Oh. Yeah, just barely. That was really close to a complete loss.
I think he's
Very
got
nice
enough
save.
pace to keep in front of Bruno, but then again, Bruno comes down the inside. Has he got enough to make
David
the move
leaves
stick?
him room.
He certainly
Yep,
has.
just about.
That's not what David Jakes would have wanted.
Nope.
I'm sure the damage to his car will certainly have played an effect. He looks to the inside and takes the place back from Bruno.
It would seem that the air being taken off his rear wing, David's that is, would have been what caused that, so with the damage to the car, maybe that's a bigger issue, as you say, than would have been before.
Without a
In the
doubt.
meantime, yeah. In the meantime, Austin has checked out and gained 3 or 4 positions during the last couple of laps here. As he's gotten by both Forster, Ibanez and Lavach.
He's got phenomenal pace in that car. I mean, he's passed 2 or 3 cars in one lap, basically.
Yeah.
It's- As we watch Peter Hlavac taking a look at You Are Boss now.
And David now back with Alan as well. He should have a good run onto the back straight here.
There he is on the inside
Yep,
and gets a
Alan
move stuck.
lets him go. Very nicely done.
It's a bit like Groundhog Day for David Jakes at the minute. He seems to make his way to the front and then he has to pass everyone again.
Indeed. Wow, that draft, that slipstream though going down front straight behind Alberto Dini there was very impressive indeed.
I'd be surprised if he doesn't at least get alongside here.
He'll get him here.
As he sweeps down to
Of
the
course.
inside and gets the move done.
Yep, and Alberto not putting up too much of a fight and lets him go. Wants to get on with his own race rather than race for position for now.
As it looks, Austin Johnson taking second place. Now he's got to close down Martin Lucino, who's created a bit of a gap between himself and Ray Riddle. But just a mention for David Young, he's gone.
Oh, he is?
If we look on board with Martin, that small dot you can see up there, that is David Young. As he
Yep.
goes into turn 1.
That's one flying Swiss. Both the Kingfishers is definitely working well here.
We certainly are. We've unlocked the special... We've unlocked the setup to this track.
Yep.
David Jakes is now coming up behind you, our boss. As you are run slightly wide, that's compromised him a bit.
Should be half of an opportunity down here if he can get a run through the corner. He does. He has the slipstream again, pulling him right up to the McLaren and actually past him.
And that's job done for David Jakes, another one down.
Yep, that's definitely very impressive driving from both Austin and David here.
He'll just be praying that Martin can hold Austin up slightly. So as we saw before, if Austin gets clear track, he will be gone.
Indeed.
And we see now Austin is right behind Martin.
Yep, and I know someone else who wishes for that. David Junt.
Yes. Well, I think David Junt's biggest wish is a yellow flag at the moment.
Fair enough, but I don't think he wants Austin past. So that Austin can catch him up either.
Massive amount of correction for Austin Johnson through turn 4.
Yep.
As he gets a run now.
More than before, so that damage is definitely having a bit of an effect on the car.
And we'll see Austin Johnson takes the lead going into turn 3.
And let's see if Martin can have any chance of a counter attack down the start finish straight. Doesn't look like it though.
Unfortunately not. David Jakes isn't too far behind. Petr Hlavac, we're in a lap he may be alongside him.
Yep, and it looks like Ray Riddle is possibly heading towards the pits.
Yeah, I saw a car sweep down to the inside.
Yep, that was Ray.
It's not ideal that a green flag pit stop. You'll be hoping now that everyone else pits on the green.
Yep, but there he goes.
Into the pit lane.
And when David goes up the inside of Hlavac into turn 1, got a great run through the last corner and down the front straight.
Can Petr come back though? That is the question. He's certainly got the toe, but I don't think he's got enough to draw alongside and make the move. The Eagle 74 of David Jakes is just brilliant through the corners.
Yep. Oh, and a slight nudge with the wall there for Hlavac, so
Yeah.
I think that's plenty fast enough for his slightly older.
David
Older
Jakes
Eagle
has
here.
had another brush with the wall, and that's allowed Petr Hlavac to get alongside and pass him round the outside.
Oh, but in the draft and look at that toe.
back
Wow.
down the inside.
Oh, and so sideways.
The air taken off that rear wing, showing
Yeah,
you
and
the
the
true
brush with the wall
effect.
won't. Yeah, and the brush with the wall won't have helped either.
No, it certainly
Dear
won't.
me. And Alberto Junior in the pits as well for I'd assume, fuel stint pit stop.
As we watch Austin Johnson, he's pulled away a good gap, but I thought it may have been a bit more, judging by his previous time when he were out in front, but it could be a mix of worn tyres and a loose car, or a damaged car at least. Or it could just quite simply be taking it easy.
Indeed. Jon team cuts this very close. A bit further back in the field, I believe just inside the top 10.
Yep, we're watching him. He's right up behind Bruno Chacon. As he takes a look, goes to the inside.
Up that.
That Coyote's just got the legs on him.
Yeah. Good old Coyote. And the Foyt power plant is a very formidable opponent, as was seen at Indy, where Pascal put that car to good use. Was right up near the front of the field for a lot of that race.
He was, and taking pole position as well.
Indeed.
You've got Adam Hackman, I believe it is.
All right, yellow
Oh,
flag.
we've got
Back
a
it
yellow
down.
flag. Let's see if we can see the culprit. And it's Jason White. It looks as though he's had a spin on the front stretch.
Like he's seated near the wall, but we actually lost his. He has actually lost his rear wing. Oh, and he spins into the barrier on the outside as well, losing his front wing.
That's very unfortunate.
See if I can possibly catch what happened on the. Ooh, looks like he lost it coming off the turn. Span hit the inside barriers. That knocked his rear wing off, and then he sort of rolled towards the outside wall just to get off the racing surface as well as he could. And now, of course, trying to get back to the pits for repairs. Ooh, as he spins again. Of course, that banking ain't easy, but he at least made it to the apron, so it'll be a bit safer now. Both him and others.
Looks as though he'll make his way back to pit lane quite easily. Now he's got the car rolling. So
Yep,
as we
just
have a
keeping it in
look, we've got a whole heap of cars charging into the pits.
Yeah, looks like the whole leading pack pretty much.
Jonatan, Alberto Ibanez, Forster,
Hackman,
Lavac, Johnson again, Boss, David Jakes.
Lasina, Alberto Senior unfortunately missed his pit stall
That's very
a
unfortunate.
couple of times here. Oh, now he finally finds his pit stall. And Ray, of course, who pitted just a moment ago, will go back in the lead, I would expect.
Yep. Oh, nearly contact between Johnson and Boss. So it's Lasina out first looking at it, followed by Johnson, Boss, Lavach, Forster, Chacon, Hackman, John Tim. Assuming David Jakes is getting a bit of damage repaired.
Yeah, considering he hit the wall again, Wouldn't come as too big a surprise.
Ibanez is out. In 9th place, I believe. So David Jakes is in the top 10. But the question I want to know is, where is David Young? He would have benefited massively from that, but I cannot see him anywhere. He's in 14th and still a lap down, it seems.
Okay, so he was 2 laps down and gained a lap last time round, so...
It's unfortunate.
Well, it is what it is. But at least he's gained 1 lap back. He still has an opportunity to gain the other lap back and be in with a shot towards the end of the race. I believe we're on lap 120 something.
135.
Wow. Okay.
No, the race
That was a
is
very long green flag run. Yeah. So David again was able to make the repass without losing a lap, which is great to watch.
It is.
We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 cars, I believe, on the lead lap.
That's great to hear.
Yeah, with Mark Craggs in the pit lane, lap down, I believe. And we have David Junt, of course, also a lap down, just a little bit further behind in the pack now. Or
David Jones
actually behind the safety car.
Yeah, so again, another yellow, and he's back on the lead lap, so we'll be praying for another one.
Yeah, and Greg Dalacello, of course, still running despite his unfortunate off early in the race. He's still running and doing a great job in 14th place.
Yeah, doing a great job. Many drivers would have given it up as a bad job, but he's kept ploughing along.
As is Pascal Khalide. He's in white, of course, who unfortunately went off just a moment ago, but he's in the pits making repairs now. And Alberto Junior, who's still running, and as is Filippo Marazzi. All of these drivers, of course, having crash or similar issues during the race.
They have, but even if they're running and even if it's a lap down, it's still vital experience of oval racing. Something we'll be seeing a lot of next year with us doing the Kart 88 Championship again, except this time in Automobilista.
So we'll have proper turbo lag and proper tyre physics, or well, better tyre physics than what we can have in our factory.
Yep. Anti-roll bars. It should certainly be an exciting season. And while we're on that note, we'll just make sure the pace car is not pitting in. Is it? Yeah, it's pitting in.
Okay, then we'll talk more about it next time round.
Yep.
If there is another safety.
There's a chance
Martin
we could
Lacina.
go.
Oh, we'll know in a little bit, I suppose. So David Jund will lead the field to the green flag. Although the leader overall at the moment will be Martin Lacina, just ahead of Austin Johnson.
Yep. I expect David Junt to get a good jump again, which he
Green
has.
flag, go, 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 go!
When Austin trying to get the jump on Martin, looks like he may just have it. Although, of course, with the draft, Martin may just get...
Side by side.
Whoa!
Is that a brush with the wall?
Not sure.
Still side by side. And now the toe will help Martin.
When Austin
They're both fighting, trying to get it, and Martin's boxed in. Oh! He had to let Austin go, unfortunately.
Well, it was that or a crash, so...
It was that.
Oh, and Austin's so crossed up through 4 and still holds on. Austin is having quite a workout and will be quite spent, I'd expect, after this race, as will everyone else, of course. But
we've got another yellow flag. So David Junt is now on the lead lap.
Let's see, and it looks like, oh, it's unfortunately Greg Dellacella who's retired from the race.
He has. Not sure what happened. We'll see if we
Well,
can see.
I did hear some crash sound, so possibly a crash somewhere around the track. I unfortunately can't get that on the replay, so
I'm just seeing if we can. I'm wanting to go a long way back, so I don't think we'll get it. No, don't think we're going to, unfortunately.
that's really, I'm so sad for Greg. He was doing such a great job staying in the race.
We need to stop talking about people.
Oh, indeed. Indeed, we will have to if we want to keep the rest of our runners in the race. I'm really sorry, Greg.
I'm sure he'll forgive us.
Well,
But now, the thing I'm most looking forward to is David Junt is on the lead lap and will be charging through this field because it's shown he's got a lot of pace in that car.
yep, as he's shotting around the track now to try and catch it back up to the field. Oh, well, charging as charging can be done while behind the safety car.
And we've got cars in the pit lane. David Jakes is in again.
Of course, again I'd expect him to be fueling towards the end.
We've got You Are Boss. We've got our usual season ticket member in pit lane. Before any of you worry thinking I'm picking on Alan Forster, I do know him personally. He is a friend, so he'll take it all in good heart.
Well, let's hope so. As David, I believe, may not quite have been able to beat Juha Boss off of pit lane, so, well...
You Are Boss has beaten Petter Hlavac out.
Yeah, and I'm a bit wondering whether... Because Juha left the pits just ahead of David. But of course David was out on the racetrack, so I'm not sure how they'll translate that up in the... onto the race control, but...
If we look at race control at the minute, it's saying You Are needs to stay behind David Junt. He's got the yellow marker above his head, which is, as we know, the marker of the car you need to follow. But we also know what R factor can be like at times.
Yep.
Are we sure David Junt was only one lap down? Because he's still a lap down, unfortunately.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure how this all works out, but he has one more lap to make up then in around 140, in around 60 laps, so it can be done. It'll just be a bit difficult.
It certainly will from the position he's in.
I believe he is in 13th, just behind Mark Craggs, who's, I believe, a lap down. Mark Craggs is just a couple of cars up the road.
As we now look at David Jakes chasing to catch up with the back of the field. So he's got out of pit lane okay, I assume repairing a bit more damage. He's certainly been in the wars today.
Walls and wars.
Yeah.
To say the least.
So we've got Austin Johnson in first, Martin Lucena second, Bruno Chacon has made his way up to third. We've got fourth is John Tim, fifth Adam Hackman, sixth Alberto Ibanez, seventh Ray Riddle, eighth You Are Boss, ninth Petter Hlavac, and 10th Alan Forster, and 11th is David Jakes.
Again behind Alan for David.
Yep.
David will be tired of that. That.
The back end of that car.
Yeah, certainly. That Eagle 72 will be in his nightmares for quite a while to come, I think.
It might
Because
be.
David heads into the pits again for, I'd assume, a quick filling of fuel here.
Yeah, and David Junt is in there as well.
Yep.
Which doesn't surprise me, he's been on track a long time.
David missed his pit stall just a little bit, but
again it's
no tires, so quick
splash and dash.
fuel and go. Yeah.
And he won't lose his position.
Nope, and that's of course to get him to the end of the race. Presumably he's calculated that if he does this, maybe until the green flag, he should be able to make it.
Fingers crossed we are. We'll just double check what lap we're on. We're on lap 142.
Ooh, it'll be tight, but I think he can make it on one more stop from here. If the safety car lasts for another couple of laps here.
Oh, the safety car is pitting in, so
okay, then
it.
It'll be really tight, but
oh, if we take it 28 laps a stint, he'll certainly have to make another one. Whether he has to make a second one is another question.
Yep.
So, Austin Johnson leading the way.
Green flag, go, 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 go!
And we've got John Tim looking at Bruno Chacon.
And there's a lot of traffic in there. As David gets up past Khalida in the back, further in the back, and Jason White gets out of the way, as does Alberto Jr. Now he's behind Alan Forster again.
We've got a four-way battle. Oh, and it nearly all came together then. But John Tim's gone from 4th down to 6th. 7th, sorry. No, 6th. It's because you've got two Lodestar cars together. I got a bit confused. And still Bruno manages to hang on to 3rd place.
In the meantime, David Yates is in a tight fight here with Bors and Forster. Both of them got held up behind Mark Cragg's Mongoose, and David made 2 positions up in 1 and 2.
And right behind him following is David Junt. He'll be wanting to make his way to the front.
Oh, indeed.
In the hope of yellow flags.
Yeah.
As we look from the back of Petr Hlavac, we can see the Mongoose David Jakes. As Jakes pulls out.
And
Mark sensibly leaves it out wide and lets the 3 of them pass.
Yep, and it looks like there's another pretty good exchange here between Alberto Senior and Riddle Senior.
Looks like Alberto, he's got the job done.
Yeah, Ray got ahead into turn 1, and now Alberto got it back in 3.
And as a result, that's enabled Petr Hlavac to get into towing range. As we stay on board with Alberto, looking back at the battle between Riddle and Hlavac.
And I just realized Chacon is in 3rd place here.
He is, he's keeping hold of it as Adam Hackman looks down to the inside.
Yeah, we had a draft, but that's that Coyote is a rocket down the straight.
It certainly is that.
Wow. Maybe a bit maybe a bit tricky to drive, but definitely has the legs.
Oh, we've got a train going on behind Alberto, weaving its way down the front straight.
Yep, so it's pretty much groups of threes.
It is, as Ridol runs slightly wide. Will that be enough for Hlavac to make a run? He's coming up alongside.
When David Yates behind actually let David Junt go, so he feels Junt is quicker and wants to make use of that draft to save a bit of fuel, I'd expect.
It's a very smart tactic. He knows that David Junt's got a very quick car and it could help him by following. But David Yates pits.
Okay, so that's a quick splash and dash
As Ridol is now
to get him to the end of the race.
It's a very brave tactic under green, unless he had a penalty of some sort.
Well, if he gets it into his pit stall, he misses it again.
Oh, that's not what you want under green. Let's go have a quick look.
When he misses it again, now he's in it. Oh, that's an angry David.
It's not what you want at this late stage.
Nope, but yeah, he changes no tires, that's just fuel to try and get him to the end. He needs to get up to speed very quickly here.
Still feel he's too early to get to the end.
Maybe not by his calculations.
Or even if he
Because if
gets 30 laps to a tank, we're still short of that. We're only on lap 149.
Oh, so that's about 50 laps.
Yeah. So I'm
So
wondering
25,
if he had
25, 26.
Yeah. I'm wondering
Laps
if
to
he had
stint.
a stop go or something.
Possibly, but I mean that's you said about 28 laps a stint, right?
Roughly, yeah.
So 28 plus 28 is 56 laps.
Yeah, so we'll still need one more stop.
You said 149 is 52 laps from the end, right?
Yeah.
So he'll make it on one more stop.
Yeah. It's just a bit risky to me to separate yourself from the pack to
Well,
take
depends.
a
I mean, there
flash.
were a lot
Splash
of
of fuel.
battles going on, so
It was, and Bruno's pulling a bit of a gap from Adam Hackman. As John Tim has got him. He's got Alberto Ibanez
here.
right behind him.
And Yates is in danger. Here comes Johnson right behind him here. So this could be Yates a lap down
Could
in a
be,
moment.
and that's not ideal.
Oh, that's a missed pit box.
I'll keep an eye on this a minute. 'Cause if
Here he comes.
as Austin comes to the inside,
David tries to hang on, but Austin's just a bit too quick. So he needs them to have 2 long pit stops for that to work out.
he does. That's
Or green flag stops preferably.
preferably yes, but I just question the choice of pitting if it is for fuel. But David may know something we don't, as we've got a brilliant battle here. It looks like Hackman's on the inside of Chacon. No, the power of that Coyote keeps him ahead again.
Oh, just about, and now Tim tries to get in there as well, and Alberto Senior not that far behind, neither is Peter Hlavac.
If this carries
Ray
on,
Ridol.
we could have a 7-car train.
Yeah, we have a 6-car train with David Junt trying to unlap himself.
As John Tim looks to the inside of Adam Hackman, but thinks better of it.
Well, this is a great exchange. As Peter Hlavac unfortunately makes contact with the wall back here. And here comes David Junt on Alberto Ibanez, but Alberto with a run and doesn't want to let David Junt get by on the lapping.
That was nearly a big misunderstanding then between.
Oh, sorry,
Team
that was Ray
Ibanez.
Riddle chopping David off. So David get by there.
Ibanez was a big loser there and a big miscommunication between.
Oh,
Oh, missed contact!
Oh, Alberto hit the wall.
And he speeded
Alberto hit the wall
into
and
David
took-
Junt. Yeah.
Yeah,
All right, yellow flag. Back
that's
it down.
unfortunate, but not really either's fault. But unfortunately, Alberto's out of this race
Let's
now.
just have a double look at that. Just
David Junt trying to get
glances.
back on track.
Well, that all started on the front straight with the misunderstanding between Team and Ibanez. I'll show the viewers again. So as we
Well,
see
with any-
here, Tim comes out wide. Ibanez goes to the inside to get some air to his front wing, gets on the apron, runs wide. That's unsettled his car massively. And then just being out wide, brushes a wall. And unfortunately, David Junt is just in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Indeed.
So
Well, with any kind of luck for David, he won't have any damage. And oh, he has a right front puncture. Oh dear me, that's not good. At least that looks like a right front. She's leaving a lot of rubber marks.
we'll see if we can find him.
At least he was just a moment ago.
He's got certainly some crabbing going on there. As we ride on
Yeah,
board with him.
Yep, that's the right front puncture. As soon as he turns, there's a lot of rubber on the road and sparks flying from the front wings. So
And the worst thing is, he can't pit on this lap because he's a lap down.
yeah,
But the other bad thing is for David Jakes, he is now a lap down and behind a pace car. So Austin and that could all pit and we'd still theoretically be right behind him still.
yeah.
I don't think they will pit.
What's that?
I
Yes.
don't know what David Junt is doing. He's
I'd assume he's following the orders of the game.
yeah, it says he's to be behind Jason White.
Yep, and he is now.
Yep. As we always say, do what the game tells you.
So presumably the yellow came out, and he was then ahead of both Jon Team and Mark Craggs.
As it looks as though we're getting a few cars pitting.
Yep, that is.
I'll have a look here.
Alberto Junior. Not Jason White, he decides to stay out. Mark Craggs.
It seems to be all the people that are a lap down.
Yep, Marazzi. And all that rubber and stuff being left by David Junt as he tries to make it into his pit stall.
The biggest surprise for me though is that Alan Forster
Wow.
didn't pit.
Indeed. but that was impressive by David Junt. Full steam into the pits. A lot of tire rubber and stuff on the road. Gets perfectly into his pit stall.
Very, very Swiss of him.
Indeed.
So as we see the beautiful mongoose on its way out of pit lane.
Yep. Actually, Austin Johnson has actually elected to stay out during this yellow.
I think the majority of the leaders have to be fair. I know the order's pretty much the same. Lucina's have stayed out. Chacon's still holding third position. So it just shows you playing it calm, taking it nice and easy. And he's worked his way up onto the podium, so he's done a great job.
Indeed.
So just briefly, while we're under yellow, we'll have a look at what we have got coming up next in the HSO Gold Star. And I believe it's our last event, well it is our last event of the year. It's the Alcoa Trophy, which is taking place at Thruxton on Sunday, December the 23rd. That is using another brand new mod made by the HSO team, and that is Formula 3 cars with a wide variety of chassis available. There's still a few left, so if you're interested in racing on that, get involved and sign up.
Yeah, it's pretty much all the sort of major manufacturers in Formula 1 back then also had chassis in like the older, like 2-3 year old chassis running in that F3 championship. So
yeah,
a couple of really well-known chassis in that series. I've driven them and they have a lot of grip, but it's one of those, if you overstep the mark a bit too much, it'll bite you really hard. So really challenge the driver. Of course, it's around Thruxton, so the speeds will be immense.
They'll be immense for F3 standards. We're slow compared to USAC cars, as
of course.
as we go back green.
When Austin jumps very early here.
Green flag, go, 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 go!
David stays with him. As Jason White comes out to the pits after a few repairs.
We'll ride on board with Bruno, because he's got the usual people from last time snapping on his heels, as Adam Hackman's looking left and right trying to find a way past. He looks to the inside, but on the outside is Petter, as Bruno gets on the apron and that pushes him out wide a bit.
Oh, and Hackman almost follows him out to the wall, but all of them survive this time around and they're back at it again.
They have.
Oh, as John Team makes contact with the outside barriers coming off 4, but looks like his car is going pretty much straight, so...
It's that dirty air again, it takes you by surprise.
Yep.
Oh, and a big slide for Chacon.
That's very well held. He's doing a fantastic job to try and hold on, and of course
Here comes
he has the
Adam.
advantage of that. That Coyote is so quick, look at that.
But it's just...
Despite
Go on, carry on.
Despite the run that Hackman had down the street, as soon as he looked out into the dirty air, the Coyote just said, "Well, hello there. Let me just get the the rocket launchers going here, and we'll or rockets going here, and we'll zoom away a little bit."
It's just such an aerodynamic shape.
Yeah.
I mean, as we look at it here, you can... it's arrowed nose. It was a great car during 1974.
Indeed, especially the combo of the Voigt power plant in that car. Because compared to 73, in 74 with the boost restrictions and the fuel restrictions, as they make a bit of contact with the wall there, the Voigt engine became the must-have engine compared to the Chevrolet that was the must-have engine of 73.
The Offenhauser, yeah. The Chacon
the
gets on the
yeah.
apron and gets a bit loose, and that enables Hackman to get past.
Yep.
I wouldn't be surprised if Chacon's back alongside by the end of the straight.
Well, depends. If he's brave enough to get into the slipstream. Now it's Lavach right behind him.
Oh, he's gone deep into turn 3.
It would seem he's a bit of a cork in the bottle.
Yeah,
his car is quick enough to keep them behind, but he ain't quick enough to keep up when
One gets
when
past.
when Hackman got past there indeed. So
Because Hackman has gone.
yep, in one lap he's gained. Is that about 1.5, 2 seconds maybe?
I'll have a look when it comes past on the ticker again. But I know it's a good old gap in oval terms.
Yep. And also Forster and Ray Riddle in a nice little fight a bit further back. Forster now trying to get his way past, and he does so. Now you have Bosses joined the battle with Team Lavach and Chacon, so now it's a four-way scrap once again.
I don't think it'll be too long before the two on the back, Forster and Riddle, catch up as well. Because Chacon just seems to be struggling so much in the corners. I don't know if it's worn tyres or as the weight of the car changes.
Difficult to tell, but I believe we're on about laps 165, right?
We'll have a check for our viewers. 163.
Okay, not that far off, so say about another 10-ish laps maximum, and we'll see the final pit stops.
I'd say yeah, I'd have to agree with that.
So it's a question of, can the likes of Austin Johnson keep out until then, or will they have to pit early and either save fuel or have to or make a splash and dash?
We shall find out shortly. But Austin has been able to pull away from David Jakes, which doesn't surprise me, to be honest. I mean, David's car's got to have some damage remaining still. He's had quite a few brushes with the wall, unfortunately. It looked as though Martin Lucena had a brief one then, coming out of turn 3. Bruno's opened himself a little bit of a gap to Petter, who in turn, as a result, has got a bit of a gap to John behind him, and so on to you all.
Well, unfortunately, Ray Riddle is out of the race. Oh, he blew his engine.
Don't think we'll be able to get that. I think it's too far back for the replay.
I'll see if I've got any luck.
As we ride on board at the back of this train with Alan Forster. Running wide for turn 3, surely tyres have got to be wearing by now. There's a lot more missed apexes than there were earlier. And we've got Petter back behind Bruno again. Again, I wonder if the straight line speed of the Coyote will just be too much for that Eagle 72.
We'll definitely have to work for it, as did Hackman before. In terms of Ray, I'd assume it's just general wear, because there was no major rev up or anything. It was just the engine gave up between 1 and 2 in the short shoot, so very unfortunate, but we put on a good show until the hardware wouldn't take it.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting to see here. Lavach has a great run.
I was just having a quick look to see if Hackman was lapping quicker than Lucena, but he isn't. He's losing around a tenth, 2 tenths a lap. But Lucena's having to have some big lifts going into turn 1, and he brushed the wall then. And again into 2. So I think tyre wear and changing how the car feels as the fuel burns is certainly having an effect.
Indeed, and behind. Down the front straight, despite Lavage being in the draft, Chacon is staying ahead without trouble here.
Certainly.
That's the power of that Coyote.
He's certainly got it quick in a straight line, whether he's sacrificed a bit of corner speed.
They're sort of forced to do that, isn't he? I don't believe they can change the front wing too much.
No, I think it's pretty set. He got way down on the apron then though.
Oh, but Lavage did pretty much the same, so
He
status quo.
ignored it, yeah. This could make a bottleneck again though and enable the cars behind to.
Yep, and what lap are we on now? Because Austin has just pitted.
So as Martin Lucena, he comes into the pits as well. Hackman stays out, as does Chacon, Lavach, Boss, Forster. John Tim's coming into the pits. Austin Johnson's out and on his way.
Yep, and what lap are we on?
We are on lap 170, so it's very close as to whether we'll be seeing more pit stops.
Oh, that'll be so incredibly tight.
If Adam Hackman can make this last 3 or 4 laps, he could potentially win it on a fuel race.
Yep, and now John Team is in the pits, Lucena leaving the pit lane now.
We'll see.
Johnson stayed in the pits for quite a while.
Hackman's continuing on, as is Chacon and Lavach, so is Boss and Forster, as John Tim just exits his stall and coming to the end of pit lane. This is exactly what Adam Hackman will be wanting.
Yep. Needs this lap, possibly one more. Then he'll be good to go to the end of the race, I believe.
Certainly. That's assuming if it stays green flag. If we have a yellow flag, it throws everything out the window. And it'll pretty much say for everyone, Austin can come in and refuel again.
Yep.
We'll keep an eye on these leaders though, so we want to see when they
Here
pit.
comes Hackman.
Oh, it's going to be very touch and go for him.
Yep.
Chacon, Lavach, Boss and Forster all stay out.
Okay, so they will probably make it then.
We could be getting quite the surprise result here if Austin can't make it last 30 laps.
Indeed. Oh, and Chacon on the apron again. The fight for lead, but let's see.
Oh, he's
Hackman now leaving the pit lane.
Chacon's slowing drastically on the apron.
Okay, so he's heading for the pits.
I don't think he realises he doesn't have to stay on the apron all the way around.
Well, he's been doing this the whole race, so...
That's going to cost him a whole heap of time.
Well, it's his style and he'll do it. I mean...
There's nothing wrong with his style, it'll just cost him time, unfortunately.
Yeah, well...
But
it's the question of do you wish to have the risk of hitting the pit wall?
Well,
when you dive in a bit later, so maybe that's why he uses that kind of way to enter the pit lane. Let's see, Jakes, Hackman just ahead of Jakes as they've come out of the pits. Chacon now leaving, so he'll be behind both of them.
I've just noticed though, Lucena is in front of Austin Johnson.
Yep.
So you're right, Austin certainly had a long pit stop. Adam Hackman is behind Austin and David Jakes. Is he still a lap down or has he worked his way back onto the lead lap now?
I believe he ought to be on a lead lap now.
Yep, he's on the lead lap. He's registering as 36 seconds behind our leader, Peter Lavach, who is just coming onto the back straight. And he's diving to the inside, signalling his pitting.
Okay, so he'll definitely make it. I believe Forster just signaled he's heading for the pits as well.
Let's have a just double check. We're on lap 174, so that's 26 to the end.
Yeah, and so Chacon lost almost a lap with that pit stop. Let's see, Bohr stays out, Forster actually stays out as well. So they could also be in a box seat. Lavac is definitely in a box seat if he can get a good pit stop here.
We'll keep an eye on Lavac.
With perfect entry into the pit box.
That's what you need at
See
this late stage.
Yep. Looks like, is he only doing 2 tyres here? He is!
He's 2 tyres and he's out. Here comes the Cena.
2 tyres and a tank of fuel, and there he goes. I love that kind of offensive strategy. He knows he can make it to the end. He just needs a quick pit stop and get out there as quickly as possible.
Yep, he's gained a heap of time if you compare to him before the pit stops.
Yep. That's Lacina followed by Johnson, Lavac.
And Boss and Forster continue to stay out.
Wow.
But the
I
good
wonder,
thing,
will they do fuel only and keep the tyres on the car?
they may well do. It depends, do the tyres take longer than just 1 tank of fuel? Or half a tank of fuel? I was in NASCAR talk then.
Well, I'm honestly not sure. Both now behind Chacon, so wonder if it wouldn't be worth it to go into the pits, but he stays out once again, as does Forster. This is turning out to be really interesting towards the end of the race.
It certainly is.
About 20 laps to the end now, I believe.
But this is a crunch point. He'll struggle to get past Chacon.
Yeah, I wonder if it wouldn't be worth it to pit now for fuel and then either take 2 or no tires and just try to blast it towards the end. Considering he'll be stuck here unless Chacon moves out of the way.
So it looks as though he's losing time because Forster certainly looks closer.
Yeah.
Is he pitting? No.
Nope, he looks for the run. So this ought to be... I'd expect the McLaren to get by now. If only just. Yeah, Chacon drops back and lets him go.
Let's have a look. Lacina is coming into turn 4. He's our leader after the pit stops.
Yep, but Austin closing quickly. I don't know if Austin going hell for leather to get a splash in later on.
You're assuming he's got to pit. He doesn't look as though he's taking the conservative approach. Well, he can't afford to, can he?
No, of course not. If he does that and still has to pit, it's worth nothing.
And Boss and Forster still stay out. But Forster's cleared Chacon. But as a result of that, Boss is pulling away from Forster again, so it seems.
Yeah, and Yates unfortunately dropping pace here. I don't know if he's doing the fuel saving route. Because he's now got Lacina and Yates and Johnson right behind him. And he gets out of the way.
So you are Boss leads, followed by Alan Forster a second behind. Then you've got Lacina 22.3 seconds behind. Johnson 22.7 and Lavac 22.9.
And they stay out again.
The question is though, how long does it roughly take to come in and get out?
I'd assume the slowdown time in the pits, as in travel through the pits only, is about 15 to 20 seconds.
You then lose more time by staying on the apron through 1 and 2.
Yeah.
I'd say you
I'm calculating with that in terms of the of the travel time in the pits.
Well, we'll keep a look on that.
So
Keep an eye on that gap between them. But I think it's going to be a case of UR will be praying that Johnson and Lucina have to pit again. Because if they do, he is in the box seat.
indeed, as is definitely Lavach as well. As is Borsum Forster, to be fair. Because Lavach is a bit further behind Johnson and Lucina.
Is that David Yates trying to pass Austin Johnson?
I believe
having a look.
Johnson may have made a mistake.
Yeah, the gap's certainly bigger between
he did a
Lucina.
mistake somewhere.
What
Or no, actually, David passed Austin into turn 3.
The gap between Boss and Lucina is 22.5 seconds. As they continue round again.
Well, the longer they are able to stay out, the lesser fuel they'll need to put into the car, I think. So
Yeah, that's certainly the interesting part.
yeah.
As we are coming up on 2, we'll have a quick look. Lap 182. We are just coming to end as Boss pits. Forster stays out though.
That's interesting.
Right, let's keep an eye on UR Boss. Does he get into the stalls cleanly? That's the first thing he needs to do. He brakes and stops bang on point.
And he only takes fuel.
Just fuel, them tyres must be good enough for him.
Yeah, they have to be. This is the only chance he has to win.
And this is Lucina and Johnson coming down the start-finish straight. They're going to be neck and neck as they go to the back straight.
Yeah. All depends on how good he can get through this and the next one. Here they come around outside, I believe. Yep, here comes Lucina. Here comes Austin Johnson. So Bors comes out in third, just behind them. Marassi unfortunately gets in between from the point of view, so that'll be frustrating for him, but let's see what happens here.
But now the
Of
big
course, the question is,
I believe we're both going to say the same thing. Do Johnson and Lucina have to pit again?
indeed. And what about Forster?
Well, he's still trudging along, and there's no sign of him cutting down to the inside to signify he's going to pit. But there's no one directly behind him, so he could just sweep in. Let's keep watching him, let's see.
Yeah, no, he stays
out.
out. This is really intriguing.
So we've got Lucina and Johnson separated by less than a second.
And Bors less than a second behind.
But
Well, just over a second.
oh, he hits the wall!
Oh
UR
no!
Boss has hit the wall! And he's...
Oh, come on. Well, at least he makes sure to stay in the wall to let one by.
He's really got damage.
Question is, will we be able to stay away from a yellow?
He's coming off the wall and it's just throwing him back on it. That's so unfortunate.
I mean, I don't mind him doing the wall ride until he gets around to point where he can. Oh wow, that's some heavy damage to the car. I believe his rear right is completely collapsed. Yep, there
Forster's
he goes.
in the
But he's on
pit.
the infield, so.
Oh, he's missed his pit stall!
Oh no!
But he's taking right hand tyres.
Okay. So he wants to blast.
Just right hand
For the
tyres
last
and
bit of the
fuel.
race. He's hoping, I believe he's hoping for a yellow, possibly.
Well, it depends if they have to pit, that's the thing. We'll
Yeah,
see.
but then he
Oh, he's spun in the
no!
pit lane!
Oh. Well, he definitely gave it a good go, but I believe that's...
That could be game. That could have settled this.
Yeah.
That's very unfortunate.
It all depends on, oh dear me,
You
here's
are,
you
this
as
could
well.
go into tears.
Yeah,
Forster.
I mean that's a safety thing for Forster, so that shouldn't be any kind of penalty for
No,
leaving the apron then.
not at all. He had no option.
No, indeed.
So,
This will be interesting. How fast can he go, and what will happen to the front too?
So, the gap between Lucina and Adam Hackman, he was the other one in play, is 17.2, but you've got Hlavac in front of him. To Forster, it's 24 seconds.
Yep. As you are still trying to get back to the pits with this knackered car. I feel so sorry for you. I was doing such a great job.
He was, as Austin gets sideways as normal. But he's not closing on Lucina massively. Has he switched into fuel conservation mode?
I honestly couldn't tell, but Lucina's definitely doing a very good job here.
Keep an eye on them.
Yep.
We expect them to have to pit again.
Well, if they don't, it'll be on the fumes of the fuel pretty much. And considering they were using more or less airplane fuel for these cars back in this time of era, I believe. As you finally gets into the pit lane. The fumes is definitely very flammable.
Yes.
As we've seen, unfortunately, several times in pit lane incidents.
So, Martin Lucina leads from Austin Johnson. Petr Hlavac is 7 seconds behind. Adam Hackman 13.3. And then Forster is 19.8. So he's gaining. These two are definitely running at a slower pace, you'd have to assume.
Yep, possibly running the fuel number.
So now the next question is, we'll just have a quick look at lap times. And we can find them. Martin Lucina's last lap was 47.5, so he's definitely slowed his pace. Definitely.
Yep. It looks like Hackman is pretty much going hell for leather here, so...
It's very unfortunate for you all.
Yeah.
Very unfortunate.
Here comes Hlavac to get by Jake, so here he'll get a bit of a draft to help him gain on the cars in front. You can just about see them around turn 1.
I'll have a look at that gap next time the ticker comes by. See if it is any smaller.
It definitely looks like he's closing, if only a little bit each lap.
It's down to 6.5. The Adam Hackman gap's gone up slightly, and Forster it's 19.5. But Hlavac is definitely gaining.
Yep, and he of course had to lap another car, so that would have closed him down a little bit more.
Let's just listen on board to Lucina and Johnson. Let's see if we're having big lifts. Well, Lucina's moving to the inside. To me, that says I'm pitting.
The question is, what about Johnson then?
Well, Johnson pitted the same lad, but he's got no one behind him, so...
This will be very interesting to see
Do we both
what
come
will
in?
happen here.
No, that was a bit of tactics there by Lucina, I think, because he stayed out. As Slavac, it's down to 6.3. As Lucina gets a slight slide.
When they both closed up to one another, haven't? So that'll be a race for the possibly for the win as they snake down the straight. The question is, will they have the pit with about 12 laps, 10 laps, 12 laps to go, something like that?
Now they'll both be getting a bit of a toe off each other. They'll certainly be going quicker on the straights, which in turn will use a bit more fuel.
Was Johnson had a big moment. Yes, of course, but if they're out of fuel, then it doesn't really matter.
It doesn't, but it might just cement the fact that they need to pit, as the Slavac gap is down to 6.2.
If they have to pit, there's no way they can get out ahead of Lavac, so it's that the other guys behind Lavac they possibly could get out in front of.
As it stands at the minute, Austin Johnson will win the Gold Star Championship. I just thought I'd mention that.
Yeah.
Let's have a look at the gap. It's staying around 6.3, so these two have definitely decided to speed up a bit now that they're in a bit of a battle.
Yeah.
As again Lucina comes to the inside, but I'm starting to believe that's just him trying to break the toe.
And then we'll have the one time when they actually
does intend to pit.
Yeah. A bit like the boy that cried wolf kind of situation.
I'm not sure what lap we're on at the moment.
I don't know either, but I'd expect we have 5 to 8 laps to go.
196.
Wow, 4 laps to go.
So
this will be very tight for them if they have it at all.
You'd be expecting them to pit around this time. It was 3 laps before the cut-off. They pitted.
Yep.
2 or 3 laps.
Question is what will happen here? Okay, not this time around.
They may have just scraped it enough fuel, but if that's the case, then this is a battle for the lead and Lucina could be winning. Because they're certainly not pushing like they have done in the race.
Nope. I noticed Johnson was lifting quite a bit, so... Well, more than he has been before, so...
Slavac, the gap to Slavac, has gone up to 7.3.
Alright, yellow flag.
And we've got a yellow flag.
Oh
That's
no!
sealed his fate. And who is it? It's you are, unfortunately. I don't know what he's done. Let's have a look on the replay.
Well, looks like
just
a
got
spin to the
sideways in turn 1. Yeah, onto the infield.
And that's the heavy damage she had before. Oh, heavily into the barriers on that side as well.
So I think that means,
as long as they can make the fuel last for the remaining 2 laps here.
as they come down the back straight.
That's unfortunately a bit of an anticlimactic finish.
It is. That could have been the godsend they needed if fuel was tight.
Indeed.
Austin's on the apron. What does this mean?
Wow. I suppose he can't make it to the end of the race even.
Oh no, he's teasing. He's teasing.
You bastard. Good God. Is that the final lap then?
Yeah, and this is the final lap, so we'll put a little white flag out.
ASCS on white is released from the safety car. Quick. Let's see what happens here.
Austin Johnson's giving him a bit of a push.
Is staying right behind him to try and make use of what he has. I believe. Always. I wonder if he's experiencing searching in the Lacina car. That typical weaving about, trying to get a bit of fuel into the car. When Johnson dropping back, that could.
I don't know what.
Oh, this will be so close. Lavach is trying to take advantage if there is fuel problems. Okay, towards the start-finish line, 3 wide right here. It looks like this will be the finish of the race. And they will.
Yep, that is the end, and
they will presumably just about have made it on fuel.
Martin Lacina has won our California 500.
That's a fantastic drive, and looks like Austin
Has stopped.
pulled off. Yeah, let's actually have a quick. Just have a listen to.
It was a quite intriguing race. It had its exciting points.
It did. Well, big congratulations to Martin for winning the race, and Austin for taking second and taking the Gold Star Championship of 2018.
Yeah, we're not in 2019 just yet.
Well, it's been a long day.
It
And
has.
third for Peter Lavach, a fantastic race from him as well. Pulled a master stroke in the last few pit stops to gain the time he needed.
Yeah, I think I'd have been very interested to know what that, without the yellow flag, would they have survived.
And Austin just wrote in the chat that he had 0.1 gallons of fuel when he crossed the finish line.
Oh, see, we needed that safety car to go away.
Indeed. Then it would have been an even more amazing finish than it was.
Just to end the day, I think
Wow.
Martin's blew his engine.
Okay. At least it says, because I'm on the old one, it says engine now, so that close call as well.
Well,
But
that,
yeah, to try and run down the rest of the finishes quickly, we had Hackman. Okay, never mind. That is no longer. Sorry, go ahead.
no, it's just been a great race. A lot of good, clean green flag running, many great battles, and it's been a honour, and I thoroughly enjoyed commentating on it. It's truly been a good event to watch, and the time just flew by. For myself anyway, I don't know about you.
Yeah, it's certainly been a quicker event than it is when you do these kind of events solo. So it's been a great pleasure broadcasting with you and watching one of the best races of HSO 2018, I'd say.
It certainly had it all. Drama, crashes, fuel strategies. It were a very exciting point in the middle when we realised we had two different pitting groups.
Indeed.
And it certainly played a factor at the end. It's just a shame we got that yellow flag at the end. It potentially deprived of us one last bit of drama.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah,
think...
my dear God. Doesn't seem like anyone wants to come and chat with us, so...
No, I should imagine we're all worn out after that one.
Oh, for sure.
I know Martin and Austin aren't usually chatters with us. But, no, we'll wait a few minutes, see if anyone wants to. I mean, is about, but whether he wants to speak, I assume he might be quite angry with himself.
User
Possibly.
joined your channel.
Oh, speak of the
I
devil,
swear.
it's Mr. UR Boss himself.
Yes,
we're-
apologies for ruining the final 5 laps.
No,
That was not part of the plan.
we was just saying we wonder if you're quite angry with yourself for the...
I'm not
Mistake,
even
you
going to
know.
answer that one.
Well, that answers
User
it for
joined
me.
your channel.
So,
I could
did
have
you...
gotten 4th or 5th, but
Oh, if
lost
we...
it.
Well,
Hello. Was the race fun from outside?
it was. It had its exciting parts.
Just
I was
unfortunate that both of you had your incidents.
I was surprised I could even follow Austin and even steal a few lead laps. That puts me in the statistic above Thiago Malafire. But I was surprised that I could even follow him to some extent and make him, you know, he looked really, he pressured like an animal since he kept like nearly going to the gravel on the backstep. I was like, okay, you try that. And then I hit the inside, once wobbled twice, and I would have wished if I could have just spun it around and then maybe caused yellow and go back, but no. Fucked up the rear end, damage repaired, 2 laps, shit. And if I had made the repair after Alberto came back from the wall, if I had directly gone for a repair everything, I would have finished ahead of Mr. Cracks. But no. But to be honest, I mean 9th, 10th, give and take, what's really gonna gain from that? But it was so much fun. I was just gonna say again after the end of the race, saying, it is every time it's so much fun driving these cars. Especially if you can hook it up well and like you've got like the good pace, so great mod.
Yeah, very great cars, and it was a big effort of hard work to get the initial mod, the 1973, and then an even more hard work to get the 74 one. Obviously, I think today proves the 74 mod is a lot more competitive than the 73 one, because
It definitely is, yes.
there's no
That's a lot
dominating
closer.
engine. But on that note, I don't think anyone else is going to come speak to us. So, hopefully, just one last time to remind you all, his next event is the Alcoa Cup. Alcoa Trophy, sorry, I should say, on December 23rd. And that's the last round of a HSO Gold Star. So, if you want to race, come join us, still some cars left. And hopefully we may see you there, but if not, we'll see you next time. And thanks for joining us.